My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. All right, stalking at 7-Eleven. This is criminal monitoring that the corporation is engaging in with its customers, which represents the people of the state. License 8ZMW045, 8ZVD149. Again, the third party begins backing out, which is stalking with light activity. This is terrorism, as you're being stalked at a venue where you're shopping, where you're a customer. This is terrorism. This is 636 North Vine Avenue. And the entity, as I'm in the store, they're stalking inside of the store. This is terrorism, as the entity is engaged in gang stalking. 6Z71175. It is, again, currently 6:20 a.m. It's Sunday, July 13, 2025. This is P.O.C. 7YNY765. It's 6:25 a.m. This is a P.O.C. at 7-Eleven, 636 North Vine Avenue. P.O.C. License 6JXA789, 4MSTLE, 9EEN241, 8GWS169, 7RJE249. The people of the state that are currently monitoring me while the entity is stalking via traffic and via aerial surveillance, stalking by commercial planes. 7RDL118. The people of the state are in their homes monitoring me. 9TEG700. 8LAA521, 22568E3, 9TAA 681, 99339V1, 8HKK 353. There's a demon stalking at the St. George Catholic School, stalking in the path with light. And the people of the state are monitoring me inside of their homes. License 9NHY129, 6LUM416. License 9HGE954, 7SNT926. P.O.C. This is the people of the state at the intersection of Vine Avenue and E Street, E as in Edward. So this would be 422 East Street. That's where I'm located. The people of the state at 422 East Street, with regard to reference where I'm at, where the entity is engaged in terrorism. And it's the entire, I'm prosecuting the state of California, but I'm getting this street. This is where the entity is engaged in what is stalking, demon crossing path, using dogs as a mask. This is a demon stalking. The demons at this fake church, a bunch of demons at a Catholic building, because that's what it is, the building, they give buildings titles, and these are the masks that the demon possessed, the special needs population uses, and they are engaged in demonic conduct. As I walk across the street, a demon perfectly in alignment, aiming light toward me, those demon-possessed clergymen that are monitoring, and at 422 West G Street, 422 E Street is where I'm located in Ontario, California, at Vine and E. This is P.O.C. 6VUT 526. T304KW, that's an out-of-state license plate. License 9DMJ282, 9MDP024, 9KBX114, 7VYS239, 6UTL971, 8MLF125, 4BTL or 4BIL548, 7YZX311, and this was probably a Baja California plate, yeah, B88NVU3. NVU3. This is at D Street and Vine, and I have documented thoroughly this neighborhood, this city, and I have the fake sun over me at 503 D Street. And the Ontario International Airport gang stalking by flying over this house while the fake sun is over my head at 503 D Street in Ontario, California, where I am right now. And the people of the state are gang stalking just like they were then, when I documented in 2021, and they're gang stalking now in 2025. 9CYR169, 8HQK516, 7USK681, 6RHR295. Nine MNA 832, 8 UND 513, 7 MQU 025, 71405G1, TGR 4383. That's a Texas plate on a black Mercedes. 9CXD 083. I do not cease to be subject to gang stalking, criminal monitoring, federal group stalking and monitoring, ML075 handicap. As I'm walking by everybody's house, you understand that the demons, as obsessed as they are, as I show you on a daily basis, that same obsession exists right now. 7TKW690 is a means of identifying the demons who are inside of buildings that they mistook for a place, a shelter from a prosecution from identification. It is a very clear basis of identity and location. The same exact crossing a path the same exact activity creation, not only inside of their homes, but the demons that are stalking via traffic. And this is where you have the foolish conduct of Starbucks, the corporation, gang stalking via traffic while impossible light flies inside of the building, and they're clearly stalking. 7TLY24A is that same population, demonstrating how the entity is gang stalking, surrounding you inside and outside of any location. And you are gang stalking inside of your home where you're crossing path with my person. Walls, doors, buildings, ceilings. These are superficial obstructions. It's not obstructing the pattern of conduct. All right, demons are inside of their homes, stalking in the path. You're crossing path, and they're doing so knowing exactly who you are. License 9TVF754. And thanks to the demons, the special needs population, like I said, there's a lot of them, but they're all special needs. So this whole special needs population has been bullied with documentation proving the fact of their criminal monitoring pattern of conduct. And it is speaking to what is the evidence of how they're engaging in it where they live, and you'll be prosecuted. That's called malice, that you're gang stalking in your home, and it's proven, especially when the fake sun's over my head, where you live, where you work. All right. And that is indeed special needs when you are engaging in that level of malicious conduct, targeting another person for no reason whatsoever. And it is no reason when you're not going to accomplish stealing my property under a secret conservatorship through a special needs defendant like Tracy Banks and her sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields, and the demons of the Ontario Police Department. Every aspect of that criminal pattern of conduct is also proven, by the way. 00472M2, license plate 5SIB816. These are the demons stalking while they're inside of their homes stalking. You're engaged in crossing a path. The specific environment is being maintained where you live. You are stalking. That's how the pattern of conduct is executed, and that's exactly how it's going to be prosecuted. 6XIE308, 8LWH907. It's the same exact population, so you're taking that template and you're applying it when I'm walking through the neighborhood, because that's exactly what these demons are doing. That's exactly what they're doing, and they're caught. And what they thought was genius is actually an ongoing, incessant admission. I'm stalking everywhere that I live. That's what the entity is stating. Everywhere that I live, I'm stalking you, and I'm going to prosecute you where you live. 4PNZ203. And this is why you don't gang stalk with a special needs government that can't control itself, because I'm going to use that documentation of stalking me in helicopters by the police everywhere in the city when I'm prosecuting the demon possessed where they live. 9CEP843, 6BLY764, 9NJJ963, 6GLG797. I'll confirm that in a second. That's what it looks like. Yeah. 66GLG797. 6MIB525. This is at Bonita and VESTA. I believe, yeah. And by the way, that's audible activity. 4PWC516. 6PAK280. The demon possessed are so obsessed that they'll keep a fake sun over your head. Yeah, they're stalking. They're monitoring you. They're stalking in the path while they're in their homes. And they're going to be prosecuted for the special needs population that they are, all right? They are engaging in a very highly malicious pattern of conduct, and it's also very highly foolish. And it's also very highly obvious. 9AKF335, and there is nowhere to hide. In the same way that they intended that target individual have nowhere to hide, there's nowhere to hide from this prosecution, and there's no escaping it either. License 5DHW613. 8NXU261. And while the entity is gang stalking me in concert with the Ontario Police, which is serving to prosecute the entire state, the federal government is watching them target me. The federal government's watching them walk in on Starbucks while nothing is happening and make up information about coming to remove me from the restaurant, or make up information about why, because I didn't purchase something, when they've been monitoring the whole time and the federal government was watching me document that. The federal government was watching the entity stalk me, including the Ontario Police, every day before they committed kidnapping. The federal government's watching the people of the state stalking with impossible light in the same way that they are outside of their homes when I'm documenting the same exact pattern of conduct. The federal government's watching everything. When I say you're going to federal prison, that's exactly what's going to happen. 6UEL919, 62279W3, The special needs are the ones that lack foresight. They're the ones that lack wisdom. They're the ones that lack discernment. They're the ones that are stalking somebody that they should never have messed with in the first place, especially when you were given a warning. 2CSI03P, Idaho. 5VQA201. And the reality is that the entity is targeting me, and I'm advocating on behalf of the ordinary target individual that this special needs population targets, and they suffer in silence. They are overwhelmed. They are subject to reacting in a very human manner. It's not mental illness when you're reacting to being psychologically tortured by a bunch of psychopaths with special needs. That's not mental illness. That's a human being. All right, crossing path. Gang stalking with all the demons inside of their homes, including 132 132 Bonita Street, 8EEY240, 5UDB 911. 5UOB 911. The federal government is watching the Ontario Police Department and the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department engage in kidnapping with the fake son over the department. They're watching. 9NFM 981, 9CDU 446. 8NZD 348, 9LSF 052. And they've been watching for a long time before I stated it now, before 2025. Okay? They're aware of everything, and I told you beforehand. And I also told you who you are that's going to federal prison. 9XDR 664, 9TOB 665. It's currently, by the way, 6:44 a.m. The entity is engaged in surveillance across the street from the Stater Brothers, including, Stater Brothers is inside of the Ontario Village Shopping Center. It's just that Stater Brothers is one of the main venues inside. They're engaged in surveillance all around, inside of the Stater Brothers, in the parking lot, at the Starbucks across the street, all the venues that are open, but also the venues that are not open. They stalk in the parking lot, maintaining light activity, maintaining presence, like this demon pacing. License 9SVC421. All right, this is, again, vicarious state actors. The government's pacing all around, stalking. And since the people of the state are so willing to engage in stalking, monitoring with the government, they're going to be prosecuted. They're in the shoes of the government. They're not private citizens. They're going to be prosecuted accordingly. License 9TUH922. And it is, again, at 6:45 a.m. at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. And this is documentation of my walk to that venue. I've already documented the fake sun at sunrise time and sunset time. The body of my evidence documenting that. And this is documentation that starts in 2018. So I've captured the impossible here already. And there's no time where none of that's good. So it's a matter of documentation. Have you captured the specific environment here? Yes, including the pattern of conduct. Logic also wins because when you're capturing the supernatural pattern of conduct, it's not going to be some sort of situation, oh, well, you didn't capture the sunset at this particular venue, so I guess you don't have the P.O.C. Doesn't work like that either. But I have captured the specific environment here at Stater Brothers, which is speaking to what everybody in relevant position, and there's a radius of relevant position. You're talking about what is the city of Ontario, where you have the sunrise at the Stater Brothers Ontario Village Shopping Center. The sun is not going to be over Starbucks 8 hours later, which is what Starbucks is across the street. All right, this is where you're getting into the common sense and the ridiculousness of what I've documented when you're looking at clear surveillance in that specific environment. And these demons that don't exercise any logic, common sense, no reasoning, because they're purely engaged in what is stalking people, psychologically torturing them, and then relying on the gang stalking police department to get rid of anybody that dares to threaten. And those demons are going to federal prison. They're getting locked up themselves since they like to engage in that. The return to sender is going to federal prison. All right, that's what the Ontario police are going to experience. It's currently 6:47 a.m. This is P.O.C. License 6W79746, 7ZQY439, 6YRF165, BZ791, that's a handicap plate, 8KVA443. And the customers and the employees inside of Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt Boulevard are engaged in surveillance, as I've already documented. And that's the ongoing course of conduct right now. License plate 5KOG173, 5CNV898, 304-9503, 7S9322. Excuse me, 7S29322. Um, 9GHV702. It's 6:56 a.m. 5HJU932. I think I read that one. 4SYT700. This is P.O.C. License 9AJM025 33220F1 4ZTB021 7AXC701 06664A4. Having the lawnmower on the black asphalt is a means of activity creation. Noise by any means necessary. License 5T72499 9EYD905, and he is literally running the lawnmower over the black asphalt. 7P48492. 52827K3. All right, it's currently 6:58 a.m. Still at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. All right, 7:41 a.m. The fake sun is directly over me at the Coin Laundry at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. And so you're looking at big picture. If you could look like an aerial view of the Ontario Village Shopping Center, for the sun to be on this side, this is speaking to how you're recognizing what I'm always showing you, stalking with the fake sun. The entity's engaged in what is stalking me while I'm doing my laundry, okay? This is context because they're also stalking when my vagina is exposed and everything concerning my vagina in bathrooms. License 9LUK921. They're crossing path and they're stalking while the entity keeps a light source over me at this specific location at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. They're doing so on behalf of the government. License 4H55939 in concert with the government. 9KKT039. And in conformity to the pattern of conduct as I document the government provides proof that it is indeed present and stalking. 52827K3, 9PEB724, 57177V3. There are no planes that are ever taking off over the Coin Laundry, over the Demoda, Barber, and Beauty at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. When I'm east of this location, Delta Airlines and Alaska Airlines are engaged in the unpersuasive and obvious engagement and targeting under a fake sun and an engineered light, where they are acting as though they're hovering there. The entity is flying much more west and at a specific angle at the Ontario Village Shopping Center to fly over me here where I'm documenting their co-defendant, 8FGU027. And if that co-defendant is an immigrant, they're going to be deported. License 7CIN016, 3R27343. 8LAG196, 9AJM025. The entity is operating off of some archaic idea that just does not work when you are being documented by a federal prosecutor. The entity's pattern, if you pay attention, this is supposed to be a bullying system. So the more that they engage in bullying you, and that's supposed to occur by flying over my head, and it's unlawful conduct, I'm gonna prosecute you, you're going to prison for it. But when you're engaged in this bullying conduct, it doesn't work when you're being prosecuted. So this is why you have the antiquated conduct of the psychopaths, the sociopaths of the Ontario Police, who resort to, I'm going to stalk, I'm going to fly over you over and over and over again by helicopter as you document, as you publish. And guess what I got? Direct evidence of the Ontario Police Department stalking me in conformity to a long existing pattern of conduct. All right, the pattern of conduct is that which is supposed to wear down the target individuals. It's supposed to cause you to crash out. It's supposed to cause you to react in some sort of way. The reaction is documentation of prosecution on the internet, and then a prosecution in federal tribunal. And then federal prison for everybody that tried to steal my property through a secret conservatorship with this corrupt gang stalking police department that proved that everybody else is stalking me as well, and that they're demons doing so in a whole fake environment. Okay, the special needs population, very much operating under an archaic idea that just does not work. It's not effective. It's proving everybody else to be a stalker as well. In addition to the ways in which I've already documented them showing themselves to be stalkers, such as stalking with light. Okay, 7VZH046. It's not a coincidence as I document a license plate. This is when the entity is flying over this specific area over the Ontario Village, where the fake sun is cozy over here at this specific area at the Ontario Village Shopping Center, engaging in that pattern of conduct. License 88750Z2. P.O.C. Crossing path into the fake sun is stalking. License 06664A4. And this is terrorism while the Ontario Village Shopping Center and while the Coin Laundry, who, by the way, is documented, fake sun in the morning until the evening. Yes, I documented that. It's already on the record where the entity harms itself. I'm going to prosecute you with the fake sunset through the Starbucks window and this Coin Laundry that's across the street at 7:45 in the morning. 12 hours from now, the fake sun is setting in alignment to me at 706 West Holt Boulevard, the Starbucks where L. Edwards engaged in what is threatening me to kidnap me with a Quesada. Both of those psychopaths who were stalking last night as a department using helicopters repeatedly flying over my head as I published the podcast online, which they're all sitting around keeping under surveillance. That's where that Starbucks that's engaged in gang stalking, that's where the fake sunset occurred across the street, where the entity's flying over my head, not coincidentally, but pursuant to a pattern of conduct, as you document, as they operate under an antiquated notion of gang stalking. You're not bullying the federal prosecutor. You're going to federal prison. The Ontario International Airport is going to be shut down. Alan D. WAPNER is a domestic terrorist. All right, this old man cannot keep up with what is going to be a 2025 exposure of domestic terrorism in the United States. And this old archaic way of thinking, the more that you engage in it, the more that, no, it's not working. I'm prosecuting you. I'm getting more and more evidence. That's what's happening. An accumulation of direct evidence. You're going to prison. You're going to asylums. You're going to be recognized and diagnosed as the special needs population that you are. It's going to be a matter of record, okay, based on facts. 4H555939, engaging in surveillance, sitting in the vehicle, okay? This is P.O.C. and they were all monitoring my vagina, all right, while I'm in the restroom inside of this Coin Laundry, okay, which the government always confirms when they're engaging in what is stalking, as opposed to having any legal strategy, having any level of intelligence, and looking out at all for its own co-defendant. The gang stalking immigrants are getting deported. The gang stalking people of the state are getting prosecuted. Every business establishment, including Coin Laundry. Since I can't come do my laundry without avoiding terrorism, yeah, I'm going to prosecute the little mom and pop establishment, and I'm going to prosecute everybody gang stalking with it. This is P.O.C. 7:47 a.m. Terrorism inside of the Coin Laundry, terrorism outside, right as I walk outside. And the fake sun is, as I've already documented, but that subdued fake sun is right over the Coin Laundry where I'm at. This is P.O.C. All right, Coin Laundry is targeting me. They're doing so while I'm being terrorized by impossible light activity in the corner of the laundry room where I'm at. Everybody in the laundry room is stalking. This is terrorism that Coin Laundry, Ontario Village Shopping Center, the people of the state, the city of Ontario is sharing in, and the establishment itself while I'm being targeted with impossible light. And I've also documented Coin Laundry stalking me with light inside of this facility before, so this is already captured, and I've already captured the greater pattern of conduct, but I've literally captured Coin Laundry stalking me with light inside of the facility before. So while I'm over here bending down, putting my clothes away and putting my socks on, etc., the entity that's monitoring engages in what is stalking me with light in doing so. This is what they're doing at the TABOR professional building while the Ontario police is flying in circles over me. This is what they're doing inside of Starbucks while the demon possessed are stalking inside of that establishment, both by making the drinks and by coming in and ordering the drinks and sitting in, engaging in surveillance inside of that cafe while the fake sun sits over the Starbucks, whichever Starbucks, pick one, anyone, because I've documented the same pattern of conduct. This is the P.O.C. inside of the Coin Laundry. This is 8:25 a.m. All right, surveillance underway at 8:26 a.m. as I document a demon comes to engage in what is stalking by maintaining presence in the corner. This is the entity that's engaging in what is monitoring the evidence and then adjusting accordingly. Maintaining presence is relevant. Understand the engineer light is pursuant to what is maintaining a means of monitoring you. A demon will come and sit in position and engage in what is stalking in the path with regard to compensating for that impossible light activity. You'll see this demon captured in images. This is also pursuant to bathroom monitoring, which I documented Coin Laundry engaging in as well. I fully documented this venue already, and the same conduct of stalking and position, which is what they're all doing. They're sitting in front of their laundry, their machines where they're using them. They're stalking, though. They're doing it. Everything that's happening under the fake sun is where the pattern of conduct is underway. So the demon-possessed, the special needs population, they are engaging in what is appropriating the pattern of conduct to whatever the activity is at the venue. If it's buying coffee and consuming coffee, if it's working at a grocery store, if it's being in a library, if it's being outside, engaging in what is traffic. The demon-possessed are engaged in, the special needs population are engaged in what is gang stalking inside of a laundry facility. And maintaining what is presence in the path, as I document in possible light, is pursuant to what is also a terrorizing threat. You will see Coin Laundry threatening me accordingly. It's 8:26 a.m. where this male comes and sits right in front of me, where the entity is stalking with light. All right, this is another old pedophile, these old dirty bastards stalking in the middle of the night, parking illegally to stalk and watch me breathe while they're engaging in what is stalking with the government. This is why the Ontario Police is being disbanded. All right, him and his crusty toes are stalking in the path and operation of a communication device while Impossible Light is moving across the wall. And Impossible Light, the extraordinarily large magnified size of shadows, and Engineer Light moving across this demon's head while Coin Laundry is engaged in terrorism. This is P.O.C. All right, I've already documented this. So you're going to refer to the record, and this is 8:28 a.m. where this is underway. And this is impunity while the people of the state, this is again what Starbucks is engaging in. Starbucks, those employees are going to prison while the entity is engaging in the same P.O.C. in another venue. You're merely replacing the name of the company. Starbucks employees are going to federal prison. It's currently 8:28 a.m. This is P.O.C. This is impossible light activity right here. This is my shadow upright, and all of this is impossible light while Coin Laundry is targeting. This is the same exact pattern of conduct outside of the TABOR professional building. This is the same pattern of conduct at Starbucks inside of the cafe. This is a pattern of conduct that is supernatural. This is the special needs population while they gang stalk you and they engage in the ongoing terrorism, activity creation in the engineered light while the people of the state provide evidence against themselves. The entity that engaged in your understanding, because this is documentation, the bigger picture is Ocean, Patty, Brian, Elena, and the entity that engaged in kidnapping on July 4, 2025, they did so under the fake sun. They did so pursuant to the impossible light that you see that the entity is generously providing for why the people of the state are going to federal prison. And it's the Ontario police that are still gang stalking, as you see that P.O.C. They're all engaged in monitoring the evidence as well. Gang stalking police officers are going to federal prison. Gang stalking mayors are being removed from office. Kidnapping gang stalkers who are of the people of the state are going to federal prison as well. And that's what the Starbucks employees engaged in while they are monitoring the evidence, and they committed kidnapping while they were gang stalking, just like Coin Laundry is. All right, this is impossible light activity. No traffic, no walking in, no vehicle lights, no flashlight is going to create that light activity that you just saw. These are the imbeciles. This is the special needs population that's very highly unintelligent and makes it very easy to prosecute them for domestic terrorism and psychological torture. I'm going to go ahead and show you the fake sun for purposes of completing documentation. Where the entity is stalking with light, the entity is stalking with the fake sun. All right, and during the day, and you're understanding what has nothing to do with sunlight, okay? They're all stalking And guess what? Gang stalking immigrants, they're not welcome in this country. They're going to be deported. It's going to be a mass deportation while the entity provides evidence of terrorism amongst the entity that is gang stalking. Okay? It is currently, when you're seeing the fake sun, it's 8:31 a.m. Ontario Montclair School District was gang stalking me while I'm at the Ontario Town Square. And they did so, as I documented, remaining at that Ontario Town Square, where they are engaged in what is using minor children and the mask of children and activities centered around children to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring domestic terrorism. All right, and those are sex offenders that are working in the education sector. This is relevant to that pattern of conduct. While you're seeing Impossible Light in the depths of this coin laundry room, that's the population that's stalking, knowing exactly who I am. All right, while they're crossing paths, that's what Starbucks is engaging in. While their engineered light is inside, that's a population that is special needs, targeting you. They don't have to address you, but they're not strangers. This is demonic pacing. This is P.O.C. It's Title 18 federal stalking as well. All right, this is the pattern of conduct at Coin Laundry, and it is currently 8:32 a.m. And this is also documenting there is no sun over the Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. And this is called criminal presence in the path. All right, sitting in engineered light on behalf of the state. This is terrorism that the establishment is going to be prosecuted for. And this is the removal of the mayor from office. This is federal prison for Starbucks employees. While the P.O.C. and you're going to document it, and the entity that kidnaps you goes to federal prison for it. This is P.O.C. at Coin Laundry, 8:32 a.m. All right, I am capturing video, which I'll include in the podcast. It's currently 8:23 a.m. The entity is engaged in stalking, and that's identified through the specific environment where the fake sun is tailored to my location along what is the Ontario Village Shopping Center. And the entity is engaging in what is stalking with Impossible Light inside of the venue as well. That is, again, understanding and removing the illusion where the special needs population is not stalking a stranger. They are stalking someone that they are targeting, specific knowledge of who I am and where I am and what I'm doing as well. And that's pursuant to the special needs population that are violent sex offenders, because they also have this uniform knowledge regarding my vagina. And that is a special needs population that's going to be removed from law enforcement, going to be subject to federal prison, mental asylums, and appropriately prosecuted as domestic terrorists and violent sex offenders who are gang stalking. License 9KKT039, 6E43182, 8PMR368. 3RZ7343, license plate 006B91 or 0068931, excuse me, 3R27343, 9NJP995, 9AJM025. While I'm capturing the pattern of conduct at the Coin Laundry, understand that the Starbucks is monitoring. They're across the street. They're monitoring while I'm a customer, while I'm inside of the venue. They're monitoring while I'm across the street. Tracy Banks is monitoring while she is at Woodside Senior Apartments. The entire entity is monitoring. I document where I'm at as I travel to show you that the pattern of conduct is ceaseless. The pattern of conduct includes what is the government, and it is stalking by a population that is sharing in an identical pattern of conduct. That's the significance of what I document, and it's also because I'm one person, and so you can only document where you're at. But this is that practical engagement and documentation is showing you how it is ceaseless, and it's showing you how it is the pattern of conduct that is impossible to mimic coincidentally. All right, and so these are demons, first of all, and this is special needs being identified, the mental illness of the demon-possessed entity. That is the government that is gang stalking you. 4U98389, 42612F4, 8ABS050. This is Ontario Village Shopping Center, and specifically Coin Laundry. The Stater Brothers, 7RUS253, very heavily documented this venue already, the Ontario Village Shopping Center, 8ETU684. The entity has the fake sun over me as I'm arriving from Los Angeles, coming to this location in September of 2024. And the fake sun is over me at the Starbucks where the Ontario Police Department fly over my head by helicopter. And that's at 706 West Holt. It's right across the street. It's steps away from where I'm at right now. And it is 7 in the morning, currently 8:36 a.m. and the entity has the fake sun over the Coin Laundry, okay? I'm documenting the entity keeping the fake sun over the Coin Laundry into the evening in 2020 where I'm doing my laundry, and the entity is stalking just like it is now. Stalking with light is the evidence of criminal surveillance, and it's terrorism. And it's also the outward demonstration of mental illness. This is the special needs population that's gang stalking. 5LJH530, 8YCP200, and the entity is no longer concealing its special needs status. While the demon-possessed don't want you to know what they're doing, they don't want you to know that they are mentally disturbed, that they're demented, that they are entirely special needs. They don't want you to know that they're sex offenders. They don't want you to know that they're entirely deformed with regard to their mindsets and what they're engaging in plain view in an environment that is entirely irreconcilable with nature. That's the special needs population that's gang stalking. And that's what you listen to stalking me in a helicopter, and the inability to understand and recognize that that's going to be used to prosecute that department, everybody in that department. And I'm talking about the special needs, the Ontario Police, and the demons who I capture with both eyes open, sitting in plain view in the evidence of gang stalking me with that government. This is the entity that is indeed special needs. Okay, they have been overwhelmed with a body of evidence that they cannot intelligently address, and the special needs population resorts to more violence, which is also relevant to this specific mode of identifying special needs. This special needs is speaking to what a pattern of engaging in psychological harms to people, engaging in sexual violence, engaging in stalking behaviors. License 9GWC 269. They engage in what is volitional conduct, very malicious. And it's supposed to be conspicuous. And that special needs status is shown when they have lost that secret status, and you're witnessing what is the unadulterated obsession that they've been trying to keep concealed. And so it's no longer concealed, and so now you're seeing just bare bones obsession, delusion, and demented behaviors, okay? And it's the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring. They're gang stalkers. 8 P.O.K. 031. There is already a whole body of evidence prosecuting every business in California that's engaged in criminal surveillance. And that's the prosecution of every shopping center and then every store inside of that shopping center. All of these mom and pop businesses, when you're gang stalking me and you have a logo on the side of your vehicle, you run a business at your home where you're criminally monitoring me, I'm going to prosecute you. As that business, that's the establishment itself, and I'm also going to prosecute the employees, the people of the state that are engaging in what is relevant to a federal RICO case, all right? And that's the entity that is engaging in that, okay? The use of the shopping cart is under a fake sun and an engineered light. That's Stater Brothers monitoring, okay? It's currently, by the way, 8:39 a.m. and this unintelligent system that's relying on an archaic way of operation, because it's very foolish to engage in obvious stalking and harassment when it's going to be submitted in court against you. This is not happening in a corner or in a bubble where nobody knows about what the government is being accused of and what the government has proven itself that it's engaging in. KS009 handicap. And the people of the state are the government. Understand that. So when I'm referring to the entity, the people of the state are the entity. As surely as they're sitting in a laundry room and inexplicable light is flashing all over the walls, their shadows are appearing upright. This is terrorism while they're monitoring. Monitoring is pursuant to surveillance, and only demon-possessed people are monitoring. That's demonic activity. That's also why it's going to be prosecuted as what it is, domestic terrorism, that the government is engaging in. All right. It is currently 8:40 a.m. License 8 MIA 863 9 GSV 312 52607Y3, and the demon that's stalking by a crossing path with a shopping cart, maintaining the multiple elements of monitoring at one time. That's 9GLE 102. 8YVX044, 6ENW563, 9JWE516. And the body of evidence speaking to Stater Brothers, speaking to Ontario Village Shopping Center, speaking to the Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario Fire Department. I've documented all manner of the P.O.C. at the Ontario Village Shopping Center, which is nothing other than an example of as to how the state of California is engaged in criminal surveillance. And I have shown that through what is the fake sun remaining over this shopping center, over me at Stater Brothers, including the sunset in alignment into the depths of the Stater Brothers. That's the Aston entity that I've captured on video and in images from sunrise till sunset. All right, these are corrupt businesses. This is public corruption exposed, and every business in California is in fact corrupt because they are all engaging in criminal surveillance, unbeknownst to American citizens and without your knowledge and consent. All right. That's relevant to a federal RICO case because they are profiting while they're gang stalking. They are gang stalking and making money simultaneously. Literally, the business is the guise under which federal group stalking and monitoring is occurring. All right, and they're doing so while they are terrorizing. I am a consumer and the targeted individual, and I'm going to prosecute you. And it's like I said, it's an elaborate RICO case, federal RICO case. 9RJJ277. Starbucks employee gang stalking going to her vehicle, license 9TUH922. License 8UBZ901, 9RJJ277, 8UOG328. And the entity is amplifying train activity, which is relevant to this Stater Brothers employee that's gang stalking by hurrying up or running to her vehicle in order to cross path. All right, this is P.O.C. And it is currently 8:42 a.m. There's no sun over the Ontario Town Square where the sex offenders of the Ontario Montclair School District are gang stalking yesterday at this time, where the entity kept the fake sun over that Ontario Town Square and that OVITT Family Community Library, like I documented, into the evening until I departed at what is 6 p.m. And the entity is maintaining that fake sun over that venue, which is letting you know what the Ontario Montclair School District was doing at 7 and 8, 9, 10 in the morning. And it's not a summer school celebration like they called it. It was the P.O.C. All right, but I did upload a copy of the flyer of what the entity calls its satanic festivities of criminal monitoring of targeting an American citizen, because it's relevant to surveillance, and the Ontario Montclair School District is engaged in surveillance. And they like to engage in surveillance while they are doing so via children, which is also relevant to the sexually violent and perverted threat, the predatory nature of such gang stalkers who have no business having access to children while you are gang stalking. And that's entirely malicious. That's revealing what is the special needs status of those that are in the education field and around children while they're engaged in the pattern of conduct. They literally held a summer school celebration under the fake sun, and it was not about the children, it was about monitoring me. They were pacing the Ontario International Airport, gang stalking, the same exact entity engaging in that pattern of conduct. That's the special needs population engaging in that, and that's mental illness. As you hear, like a raging engine, that's the special needs status of the demons who are hostile while they are listening to their exposure. And they're listening and witnessing their exposure because they wanted to engage in targeting the person that is here to federally prosecute them and diagnose them. All right, it is currently, again, 8:44, where another demon's engaging in surveillance while the entity is sounding amplified traffic. A demon, a special needs defendant, and a special needs defendant amplifying train activity for the criminal purposes of this special needs defendant, license 9JWE516, under the fake sun, competing with what the entity was doing at the Ontario Town Square, the Ontario Montclair School District, stalking me under the fake sun. All right, it is currently, again, at the Ontario Village Center. It is 8:44 a.m. This is P.O.C. (9MNA832). And the fake sun remains over me as I leave and depart from the Ontario Village Shopping Center. Hence, stalking by license plate 55704B1. And everybody that's living on Bonita, they are stalking by place of residence as the entire city is engaged in criminal surveillance. And that includes every business that is relevant to a federal RICO case. Okay, it's currently 8:46 a.m. and the fake sun remains over me, evidence of an entire city relevant to what the state is doing, keeping a fake sun over the targeted individual while a special needs population engages in sexually perverted and mentally demented targeting behaviors designed to keep an American citizen under surveillance outside of any constitutional authority whatsoever. 8ATB669, this is P.O.C. All right, license plate 8UOG238, and I read this one. They got in their vehicle to monitor 6GLG797. This is on VESTA 9NJJ963, 6BLY764, 9CEP843. All right, this is the people of the state. Alrighty, let me go ahead and show you. I've captured this in the middle of the afternoon, the Ontario International Airport are gang stalking. That's Southwest Airlines that you hear. And the people of the state are in their homes monitoring with the city of Ontario. Sharing and crossing a path is what you'll look at. This is what they do at Woodside Senior Apartments when they're taking off over Woodside. The demons walking on the sidewalk outside of Tracy's apartment while Ontario International Airport flies over Woodside Senior Apartments. The entities sharing in that conduct. At the Ontario Town Square, I'm showing you the demons that are on their foot around me. They're walking in into like they're monitoring on foot around, and they're also monitoring while they fly over in commercial planes. That's again representing a corrupt business. Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, Amazon Prime, FedEx, UPS, Delta Airlines, United Airlines. They're all American Airlines. They're all engaged in criminal monitoring. They're a corrupt business relevant to the federal RICO case, and they're obvious. They're very unintelligent. They're deviating by flying over, and they're in a location east of this location. Like I stated, they're hovering over like they're taking off from there. Remember when I'm at the 1627 West HOLT at the Human Services Department, and they're taking off on Holt Boulevard right there at that location, which also is at the airport, but you're taking off there. So then what are you doing when you're flying over the Ontario Town Square to get in alignment with me and then make a U-turn back in the opposite direction? What are you doing when I'm at the Ontario Plaza on Mountain Avenue, flying in alignment to my person and then making a U-turn and flying back the opposite direction? What are you doing when I'm on F Street and you're flying in alignment to me, in alignment with my person, and then making a U-turn, flying back in the opposite direction? What are you doing when I'm at the B&G Plaza, which is east of this location, where they're feigning to be taking off there, and they're engaging in what is also flying to get in alignment with my person and making a U-turn, flying back in the opposite direction, but also, as I documented Alaska Airlines doing, and many other airlines, engaging in what is taking off over the B&G Plaza along Holt Boulevard, which is east of this location, where Southwest Airlines is much more west of that location, while the fake sun is over my head, as though they're taking off over the people of the state that are gang stalking with them. 7TTV 713. All right, 520, this is VESTA. That's engaged in gang stalking where they live. All right, the entity is maintaining train activity. You cannot hear the train. You can't hear the train inside of Tracy Banks's apartment either, where the entity engaged in that. While the fake sun was over at Woodside, it's the same pattern of conduct. The same pattern of conduct. 514 Bonita Street. 514 Vesta. The people of the state at Ontario, California, gang stalking with the city of Ontario, while the entity deviates from taking off from 2500 Airport Drive and 2900 Airport Drive to fly over me on Vesta Street, where the people of the state are gang stalking by residents. License 7DHK032. And this is what the Starbucks Corporation is doing. Gang stalking as an establishment while they are profiting at the same time. 513 Vesta Street in Ontario, California. The people of the state gang stalking with the city of Ontario and Southwest Airlines, a corrupt business engaged in state surveillance. License 5FRN962. 6XIE308. And I've documented this, and it's already on video. 507 Vesta Street, documenting the entity gang stalking Alaska Airlines, like I'm documenting Southwest Airlines, as though they're taking off right here at the intersection. The entity maintains activity as I get to approach this intersection. This is an open area, so this is the meeting behavior, stalking. And that's why you have a demon at the intersection. I'm going to document their license plate while they're stalking at the path, pacing. And doing so under the guise of trying to park along the court. They're stalking in the path with light under the fake sun. 9TVF754. This is 507 Vesta in Ontario, California. 9EGK974. 8MQU079. This is all pacing. This is special needs, WORMIE 3. This is special needs, GEO1R. And this is special needs, license plate 7DHK032. That is 216 Vine Avenue in Ontario, California. It is currently, again, 8:53 a.m., where the special needs population is going to be prosecuted for domestic terrorism, stalking, 7TJE121, special needs, stalking with light, stalking as an entity, monitoring the genitalia of a targeted individual, okay, wanting for an appropriate label as sex offender, 9KZJ063. All right, P.O.C. It's 8RBG996. A bunch of demons. The fake sun remains over you as they travel over all of their homes. Their homes are referred to as facilitating venues. Where you're stalking where you live, that's a special needs person. Okay, you're stalking another person where you live, that's a special needs person, and it's a population of them. 8GQW233. And all of the special needs population that's of the immigrant status, they're going to be deported out of the country. They're being deported, okay? This level of sex offenders, we don't need anymore. We have enough. Obviously, I'm exposing homegrown sex offenders. So those of the immigrant status, that's an easy resolution. Deport them out of the country. And that's exactly what's going to happen. License 9LIX 255. You cannot call Mr. Trump racist. You cannot call him some sort of bigot when he is identifying criminal conduct and calling them sex offenders. And I am in California, and that's exactly what the immigrant population is. They're gang stalking in California. What you see the Ontario Police Department doing, they're doing it with the immigrant population in California, in Ontario, California. He's not lying. That's not an overgeneralization in the state of California. I'm here confirming it. 9EOW 687, 26561E2. All right, they're gang stalking me in the coin laundry. How many of them cannot even speak my language in my home country? And they're here terrorizing me as though they have some sort of disillusion with regard to a right to be here. No, you don't. You do not have a right to be here. It's a privilege. And that privilege does not include terrorizing American citizens, even if you're doing it with the government. The government is going to be the reason why you're going to be deported then. It's not going to be some license to stay. You're not hiding behind the state. I'm going to prosecute the government and I'm going to prosecute you. And if you're not even a natural born citizen, guess what? You're being deported. License 9ADZ 809, 6JIM 672. And you will learn how much you deserve to be here, how much of a right you have to be here. Okay, a lot of the entity is going to be humbled. 86224Z2, you don't have a right to be here as an immigrant. It's a privilege in the same way that I'm granted the privilege to go to Paris, France, and I'm not out there terrorizing their citizens. And if I were, they are totally authorized to kick me out. 7S41783, 7SYC276, 8YAS044. Like I said, the entity that is gang stalking, the entity that is gang stalking is sharing impunity with the immigrant population in the same way that everywhere that I'm going, the same exact specific environment, the same exact pattern of conduct, and it's not limited to the languages that that the people of the state speak, or what place of origin, where they were born at. You're understanding how you're going to prosecute, though. Oh, you're not even a natural born citizen. Oh, that's an easy resolution. Deport them out. Deport them. And we have the right person in office to handle that. 8FJD392. License 7XDY683, 9DHB089. All right, and this is where the entity engaged in what is threatening me, surrounding me in the intersection when I'm reminding them about how they're sex offenders and that they don't have any privacy. 15149Z3, while they are violating the privacy of an American citizen. Yeah, imagine that. These are the psychopaths. 8GUC058. This is the intersection of C Street and Fern, and they are all in their homes, which are facilitating venues, fully exposed and vulnerable to a federal prosecution, while their whole unintelligent system has already been laid out, and the feds are watching me prosecute them on the internet, and they're also going to be prosecuted in federal court. And you will be deported if you are not a natural-born citizen. And it looks like Mr. Trump is trying to deport on even a broader basis than that, so good luck. 9BCW145. 9SNX431. But I know this is domestic terrorism. This isn't just harassing somebody. This is domestic terrorism. I'm going to let you know right now, you're going to be deported. 5HZB779. License 7ZIC153, 8XDX370. This is P.O.C. This is an entity that's obsessed with me, the special needs population, obsessively stalking where I sleep, obsessively stalking where I remain sitting in the Starbucks, obsessively stalking where I go to do my laundry, obsessively stalking when I go to the bathroom, obsessively stalking when I just sit in a library. All right? This is the P.O.C. 8ZAV858. Stalking, DUBEY. That's perhaps a paper plate. It's a white plate with black characters. And it's currently 8:59 a.m. And it's not just Latinos that are obviously, I'm not trying to, and under any circumstances, seeking to further accelerate any ignorant
notions that are bigoted. But what I am stating is that there is a place in the United States of America, there is a place to get rid of those who are criminals and who are in fact sex offenders, and those that are granted the privilege to be in this country. But it's not based on any specific race. Those that are Haitians, those that are Jamaican, those that are there's all sorts of Hispanics and Latinos. It's not just Mexicans. There's a lot of ignorant ideas out there. Though there is an Asian community that's immigrating to the United States. And guess what? They're gang stalking. All right. And there are areas in California where they're heavy. For example, when I'm in Walnut, when I was in Pomona, and while I am documenting in West Covina, heavy Asian population. And guess what? They were monitoring me. And as I documented, as I referred to this deportation policy, which is the rule, it's just like gang stalking police officers, just like gang stalking mayors, the gang stalking immigrant population. All right, these are rules and they're going to be enforced. Now, the entity is engaging in this pattern of conduct, and as I referred to the deportation policy, the entity that's engaging in surveilling my evidence engaged in more and more of the Asian persuasion, if you will, harassing and gang stalking me, because they're aware of the fact that I'm referring to them in the evidence. That's the ongoing pattern of conduct, and I refer to it. Everything that the entity does, I always document it. So, and you can also observe it. I point these things out so that you can pay attention to it yourself. I'm just teaching you how to pay attention. The entity that's engaging in monitoring me is always engaging what is replicating what it is that I'm documenting. So I'm talking about the high immigrant population in Walnut, California, in Diamond Bar, California, in Pomona, California, and then you'll have the Starbucks Cafe in Pomona filled with Asians that are engaged in monitoring me. And that's not because I'm a racist, it's because I'm documenting and I'm identifying the P.O.C. And a deportation policy applies to anybody that's an immigrant, whether you come from Mexico or whether you come from China, whether you come from Afghanistan, wherever you come from. If you're not a natural born citizen, guess what? Uniform treatment. License plate 02189C1. License plate 8XDF909. Excuse me, 8KDF909. All right, and these homegrown terrorists, the entity, the white people that think that they own this country and they don't. All right, they're engaging in what is a pattern of conduct, and they are terrorists. And they like to engage in racist epithets and using these sorts of reasons why you need to get rid of other nations, other races. They're out here gang stalking with the immigrants. There's no basis for anybody of any color. I'm looking at all of them. They're the same special needs population, the exact same special needs population. All right? Those are the ones that are gang stalking with planes and helicopters, and they call themselves creating their own hierarchy while they're gang stalking with those that can't even speak the English language, monitoring me. All right? As though you belong here more than no. If you weren't an American citizen, we would deport you out of here as well. You don't belong here. It's not your country because you're white. That's the same demonic spirit, by the way. License 9PZF062, surveillance while the Ontario International Airport. It's again east of where they were just taking off over the Ontario Village Shopping Center, now taking off right here at C Street and Palm. All right, those are the unintelligent demons of all races. Those that are not natural born, they're going to be deported. It's an easy resolution. We need to get rid of as many sex offenders as possible, get rid of as many domestic terrorists as possible. But I will address the entity that's racist in the United States. Guess what? And it's not just white people that are racist, but the entities that's engaging in this pattern of conduct, they like to make some sort of distinction amongst themselves. And guess what I'm documenting, what I'm looking at and what I'm observing? All right, these demons that are white, these demons that are black, these demons that are Asian, these demons that are Latino, these demons that are mulatto, they come from the Middle East, they're engaging in the same exact pattern of conduct. The same exact one. They're united in spirit. These are demons. Okay, so you're talking about dealing with in the carnal in order to prosecute in the physical, okay, what is actually a spiritual condition. Satan is a spirit and he doesn't have a race. He's using, by the way, all colors of the rainbow. These demons are the ones that are deceived, though. They like to call other people like you're greater. No, you're not. These bigoted white people out here that are gang stalking are equally animalistic and barbaric as the ones that are not even natural born citizens. And if you were not from this country, you don't belong here either. I want to be clear. Being an American citizen is not based on your race. We are united. We're supposed to be a melting pot. We're united by a shared set of beliefs, supposedly. So where this notion came from that you're white and you belong in America, that's a lie in and of itself, because you don't even understand what the Constitution is about. Clearly, that's why you're gang stalking. It is un-American, meaning you actually don't belong in this country while you're engaged in criminal surveillance. It is the most un-American thing you can do with your white skin, gang stalking an American citizen. And then at the same time, out of the same breath, you want to speak down upon somebody that's not a natural born citizen because of that alone. That's racist. And it's hypocritical. And it's coming from something that is purely ignorant. These demons are altogether special needs. United, all colors of the rainbows, monitoring. All of them. The solution is you deport those that are not natural born citizens, because this is a country and it's supposed to be a civilization, and there are laws and rules and policies. But there is no basis for making some distinction, some superficial distinction where these bigots that are of all races gang stalking the same. Gang stalking the same. It's pathetic. License plate 6PSB 913. Let me get this. 6RBS 913 7Z8. I can't really say that one. 8RZD 270. That's what's so pathetic about them. Okay, that's what's so pathetic about them. And the whole notion of racism, that is demonic, it's of Satan, and it's also the absolute absence of any logic. It's totally something that is meant to appeal to emotional sentiments. All right, it's supposed to just trigger you, and it's the absence of any logic. There is no logic behind racism whatsoever. It's just designed to make you feel bad, and it only works on you if you are ignorant, if you give into that sort of mindset. And that's why you have people that are not even white. You have black people who are racist. It's a spirit, and it can infect you. What I'm looking at across the board is criminal conduct amongst all races, and there's no linguistic barrier whatsoever. Those that are not natural born citizens, the audacity of you to be in this country, given a privilege to be gang stalking another person with the government. With the government, the audacity. Yes, get out of my country. Get out. The entity that's gang stalking, but I want to be clear, these homegrown terrorists, all right, these of all races engaged in that pattern of conduct, they're not better. They're not different either. It's just one means of resolving what is an issue of domestic terrorism. License plate 9Z, excuse me. This is stalking in the path with peculiarized light. License 9ECE 612. Yeah, this is pursuant to federal stalking. 9ECE 612, and it is currently, you'll see images of stalking in the path with light. This is the entity that's demonstrating their special needs status. This is the ongoing targeting, and the fake sun is remaining moving over me as I move amongst the population. Okay, it's currently 9:07 a.m. Just want to be clear, the demons, the Spanish-speaking demons of this fake church, VOS church, gang stalking in their church vehicle. They're monitoring, and again, they know that they're demons. They're reminded of their demon possession as soon as I come around, and the demons that are using their vessels begin monitoring me. They know that they're lost. They're special needs. They're demons that like to feign using religion, and their religion is based on the fact that they are not living what it is that they claim to believe. That's religion, all right? And you're only fooling yourself, all right? Having faith, like I have faith, I believe in Christ Jesus. I believe in what he said. I believe in who he is and his deity. I believe the word of God, and I also live it out. I'm not saying, oh, praise Jesus, and then I'm out gang stalking. I'm gang stalking in the midst of the church service. That's religion. And it's not saving you. And they also know the truth when I come around and they start monitoring me. They know that they're demons. They know the truth. And they also are mad because I know the truth. It's currently 9:09 a.m. and that fake sun tells the truth with regard to prosecuting them. Because what you have a constitutional right to do is practice your religion. You sure do. You sure do. You don't have a right to engage in gang stalking, though. So I'll prosecute you in that fake church under that fake sun. Yes, I will. You don't have a constitutional right to do that. It is currently 9:09 a.m. The entity falling with the fake sun to the Ontario Town Square. And this is speaking to what the Ontario Montclair School District was doing yesterday, gang stalking. That's an exceedingly violent sex offense. And that is, again, a threat to minor children, a threat to children, period, a threat to the youth. P.O.C. All right, in the images, you will see the fake sun that's in position. Grand departure from being over the specific location at the Ontario Village. When you look at it, the aerial view of Ontario Village, it like arcs over onto the side where I was at the Coin Laundry, and that's where the fake sun was over me, and removing step by step, street for street, turn for turn, and so did the city of Ontario, replete with gang stalking airlines like Southwest, who is now east of that location, hovering over the Ontario Town Square. The people of the state, well, you'll see them stalking. You'll see a white male with a cap on. He's pacing. He's doing so under the fake sun that's still here at 6 p.m. like you have already witnessed, like the Ontario police are gang stalking in the same way at this venue also under a fake sun that's still here 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 7, and 9 hours, 9.5 hours later, where they're engaging in the same exact criminal conduct as the special needs population, monitoring the federal prosecutor. In other words, coming for the wrong person. It's currently 9. Hold on, let me get you the time because I'm going to read these license plates of the entity that's engaging in surveillance right now. 9:27 a.m. License plate 8UDF589 heavy-set male 9AFL480. That's a dark blue, dark gray Tesla. License 6FCC514 9SAR972 7DDJ604. And this is at the 280 North Limit Apartments. The elderly that are engaged in gang stalking with the city of Ontario, doing so while the entity is keeping that fake sun over me at the remember, the entity has the fake sun over the Ontario Police Department at 2500 South Archibald, where Southwest Airlines is stalking me, where the Ontario International Airport is facilitating and is engaged in state surveillance, domestic terrorism, stalking an American citizen using planes. Yeah, there are demons that are going to federal prison for what I'm documenting, and it's not mysterious, it's not anonymous. Those that are engaged in criminal use of the airport authority, the aviation, their methods of gang stalking using planes, people are going to prison for that, okay? And L&D WAPNER is losing that position. This is a gang stalking public official who's engaging in what is stalking me, monitoring me, while I am simultaneously exposing him, speaking to the fact that he is indeed special needs. He's also a violent sex offender, obsessed with my vagina. When you're looking at the people of the state stalking at the Ontario Town Square under the fake sun, you're looking at that simultaneous presence on the ground around me, and the entity gang stalking using aerial surveillance, including commercial planes and helicopters, where there's no terminals that they're taking off from that's ever going to result in them flying over the Ontario Town Square in the ways that I'm documenting. Delta Airlines, Alaska Airlines, Southwest Airlines, the entity that's engaging in that P.O.C. They're doing so pursuant to federal stalking. So I'm giving you also context. I'm capturing the images. You'll see the picture. You'll see the specific environment. You will also see the screenshot. What are they monitoring? They're monitoring me. They're obsessed with me. They're stalking me. They're a bunch of demons who are obsessed with me. And they're also engaging in what is monitoring my device. So I'm uploading all the evidence from yesterday, last night, and today. And as I'm doing so, the entity is engaged in federal stalking. That's the federal RICO case against Southwest Airlines, a corrupt business that's engaged in state surveillance. Just to let you know how that works with regard to prosecuting. The entity is engaged in surveillance on the internet. This is Ontario Wi-Fi, where massive surveillance is underway. This is federal stalking, and the people of the state are sharing in that. It's public corruption. All right, it's currently 9:30 a.m. This is P.O.C. 9LSF052, 9NZY008, 5JUC527. Maintaining presence. Oh, you'll see the images of the same exact formula. The entity stalking with commercial planes at the intersection of VESTA and C Street. And that's where the entity is stalking with a commercial airline plane, where there is you're not doing anything other than maintaining presence in the environment, as opposed to maintaining flights from the airport. That elevation and the ongoing pattern of conduct, the fake sun is over my head as I've left the Ontario Town Square, but I did not leave the Ontario Town Square yesterday, okay? Stalking. License 6TSU465, 9TVF753. The Ontario Plaza Apartments is gang stalking. These apartment complexes, and this is again an impoverished area over here, and they're engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, very severe consequences. It's not funny, but this is speaking to, again, this is the special needs population. They are destroying themselves. They're deporting themselves. They're imprisoning themselves. They are exposing themselves. 7XSY810, 9TVF753. And it's the entire apartment complex, the entire neighborhood, and the people of the state. They can barely afford to pay their rent, let alone handle a federal prosecution. License 6YHX296, 8JTB488, 5PER629. And outside, rather than concerned with trying to find some gainful employment, outside stalking in the path on behalf of the state, that's also providing evidence against them in federal court, them being the people of the state, establishing the conspiracy amongst the people of the state and the government. They're already prosecuted. This is what they're concerned with, though, and that special needs status is why they are a threat to the public, and they're going to be prosecuted regardless of how little money they make, regardless of their impoverished circumstances. They are terrorists, and they're going to be treated accordingly. 30840E2. 8ZOH000 AVAL HART S. Stalking in the path. She's driving down the street with engineer light moving all across the vehicle. She's monitoring. All right, and she's a special needs. This is a special needs defendant. The hostile demons that engage in that pattern of conduct was simultaneous to what they listen to me state about them while they are stalking. While they are stalking. Eight NXU 261. It's unfortunate, bringing shame to the U.S. Army. It's currently 9:48 a.m. This is P.O.C. License 9JJM829. The entity engaging in what is sharing in the elements in that following way. So this is surveillance while a bunch of demons are under the sun that was already here. Follows me back to the Ontario Village Shopping Center. And that's also demonic. The Union Pacific Railroad track is not the sound of train that's going to be, again, like the airport's not taking off everywhere perpetually in the city of Ontario. These are the unintelligent demons engaged in surveillance. 9TUGO32. The government is providing what is a basis for, and this is also understanding not just the public entity, but the demonic entity. The demons are provided with an environment for them to maintain presence, i.e. the fake sun, the surrounding engineer light, the amplified audible activity. And then you're just talking about a basic level of scrutiny. The train is not going to be heard inside of Woodside Senior Apartments. The entities engaging with a stalking with noise. That's speaking to special needs. It's very demented. 8RRK072. And this is her smoke shop inside of the Ontario Village where she's monitoring, using that business, that establishment to engage in that pattern of conduct, which, by the way, she's been doing for years. And she's gang stalking now. It's currently 9:51 a.m. Ooh, boy. And I think I read this one. Yeah, he got out with tattoos all over his face and covering all of his skin, gang stalking me. That's the government threat in my life. All manner of creeps and weirdos stalking. 7NBS089. License 6RZC506, 6UFG841. Like he went to town coloring in his face with tattoos, okay, and he's stalking me. 7RIV291, 5EXY101. All right, and I want to be clear, it's not less creepy and demonic when a demon that doesn't have any tattoos is engaging in the P.O.C. I'm just looking, he is obviously hideous while he's stalking. 8XTH564, 8JGV657, 9CAL644, DE55U11 paper. And Stater Brothers, the Ontario Village Shopping Center, is engaged in stalking an American citizen. This is the federal RICO. 8YNC992, 68707P1. 26521M2, 9EMX445. 9TJG038, 19690S3. And it's 9:53 a.m. Union Pacific Railroad, as impossible as that audible activity that the entity creates, is going to be prosecuted. They're also using the train tracks as a means of interstate commerce. You're going to prosecute even as they are a demonic means of what's impossible audible activity, since they want to replicate the sound of the train, which is attributed to Union Pacific. Union Pacific is a domestic terrorist that is utilizing channels of interstate commerce to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring. And it's 9:53 a.m. This is P.O.C. License 9 GPR 041. All right, you will see my shadow appearing in the shade where I'm documenting a whole bunch of stalkers. That includes Union Pacific. You're not enjoying a donut and coffee and minding your business. You're gang stalking inside of the cafe where my shadow is appearing in the shade. And this is the special needs population that engages in targeting American citizens in ways in which they're ordinarily not privy to. And they engage in psychological torture by harassing the entity, by harassing the target individual in this demonic environment as well. 8DVV780. You'll see those images uploaded to the Google Drive. That's impossible light activity that Starbucks has inside of its venue, that the people of the state gang stalking businesses maintain inside of their venue while they're engaged in state surveillance, which is relevant to the federal RICO case against the state. It's 9:55 a.m. P.O.C. Stopping. All right, a demon stalking under the fake sun that's back over the laundromat as I walk away. It's almost like God is a comedian sometimes. I didn't intend for this level of beautiful documentation today, going away and then coming back, so you to see it at the same exact location at a different time. Evidence of what is stalking shown through a whole unnatural environment, and showing also what is the special needs of that population that is indeed stalking in unheard of ways, including under a fake sun and via light. This is how the demon possessed, who are special needs, and they also represent a threat to the American public, while they are targeting American citizens for murder, for money, to kidnap and take your liberty, for property, whatever it is that the demon-possessed think that they will derive a benefit from, which is exactly what the entity, the state of California, has committed, the corrupt police department, the corrupt sheriff's department, the corrupt courts, and then thought that gang stalking is going to cause me to unravel so that they can manufacture mental illness. And my documentation evidence shows that it's actually not mental illness. Were an ordinary target individual to react to psychological torture, it's going to require the change of laws. Stalking with light, this is special needs. 7HZY357, under the fake sun, number 1. Also with engineer light moving across the storefront, number 2. Stalking as a population, number 3. Stalking while you are stalking that person and they are in real time exposing you in order to prosecute you for terrorism, no small thing. That's special needs. Mental illness exhibited, number 4. It is currently, again, 10 a.m. 9 KKT039 already documented, 8 LAG 196, and the fake sun is back at the very precise angle where I'm located. And you're mindful, I'm entering the OVITT Family Community Library yesterday. What's over that entrance, what's over all those sex offenders stalking with light is not over the coin laundry, and neither does it ever create light activity on the black ashy asphalt where people of all races speaking multiple languages in the United States, being granted the privilege to be here, are engaged in criminal surveillance. All right, and sharing in what is that special needs. You have all manner of mentally ill people that are in this country gang stalking American citizens. It is current with the government. License 8DVV780 is now crossing path, engaging in surveillance in the parking lot. I documented them when they were crossing path in the parking lot. CY14R67 paper, 4U98389, and this is also how you're getting to a whole airline stalking, because the entity that has the fake sun over me was stalking, flying over this storefront on this side of the Ontario Village Shopping Center, where the fake sun remained over me back to the Ontario Square. The Ontario International Airport is flying over the Ontario Town Square with the fake sun, flying over me at 503 VESTA with the fake sun, doing so while I'm, in other words, going from place to place. That's stalking. And this is the government that is stalking. And this is the government that is, again, being exposed as the special needs population that it is. This special needs condition is a threat to the public while domestic terrorism is underway by this special needs population. 80535C4, 9JON811, 8EX0000. The entity is also special needs because the more that they are exposed, the more that they're embarrassed, the more that they're hostile to their exposure, the more radical, the more spectacular, the more ridiculous, the more demonic, the more circus-like they're stalking with light behavior. The more threatening, meaning the demons of the Ontario Police Department or any police department, any law enforcement agency, that's the highest threat of the entity, and that's supposed to shut you up. That's supposed to make you appear as though you're, I guess, imagining things, because then the police are stalking you. The entity exercises no logic in what it's doing. That's supposed to frighten you, however. That's supposed to terrorize you, and it reasonably does. You're talking about a reasonable standard, not the fact that I am not scared of demons. Okay, the reasonableness standard. An ordinary target individual, the reasonable person, is absolutely going to be terrified by the police that are stalking them, by the police that are special needs, by the police that are deranged, psychopath, unhinged, okay, and engaging in what they've been accustomed to getting away with, okay, and doing so under the color of authority. Yes, absolutely, that's terrorism, and that's why they're going to federal prison. Gang stalking police officers go to federal prison. All right, 8 ETU 684, 9 DTJ 564. The entity is gang stalking with the City of Ontario that's flying over the storefront, flying over the venue with impossible light activity. This is P.O.C. All right, these are the gang stalkers speaking multiple languages, monitoring with the entity that's flying over the venue. And I already took a picture of the impossible light while they're doing so. And they're engaged in domestic terrorism in the United States, doing so with impunity while the government is helping those that are immigrants, gang stalking. All right. Now, I'm not stating anybody that's speaking a foreign language is necessarily an immigrant, but there's probable cause. There's a high immigrant population in Southern California where I'm at. The entity is gang stalking in this area where I'm at, and there's a large immigrant population. So I'm not ignorant about that, but I am documenting the entity that's gang stalking me right now. The Ontario International Airport is flying over the venue while they're inside monitoring and stalking with light. Okay, license 9LFG669. And this demon getting in license 8MGS532 is stalking with impossible light. Okay, while I'm talking about the immigrant population. All right, that's terrorism. This is special needs. This is the government's impunity that you're documenting. That's the basis of being placed in mental asylums. That's a special needs condition. License plate 8YNC992, stalking with light. License plate 9TFJ180, stalking with light. License plate 7HAS525, license plate 9TVU884, license plate 6EWC171, and they're all stalking with light. This is the special needs population that is engaged in criminal conduct on behalf of the City of Ontario. That's losing all of the public officials. No police department. It's being disbanded. The fire department, Michael GERKEN, is done with firefighting, and all those demons that I've heavily documented for years, gang stalking me and monitoring my vagina. They are monitoring while this special needs population is being exposed as I'm prosecuting the entity on the internet, and also showing you about the demon-possessed population that is very much special needs, and they represent a threat while they engage in demented behaviors and failing to maintain what they intended to appear as strangers, where you are supposedly imagining everything. That's speaking to their special needs status. That's the malicious psychopaths who commit murder, who lie on people, they bear false witness in court, they engage in theft, they're frauds, they engage in all manner of criminal activity, and doing so in concert with the government that helps them get away with it, the government that benefits off of it, the government that relies on that corrupt population to share in that criminal engagement. It is public corruption. All right, this is the entity that's stalking with light. That's that special needs population. And they're all going into Stater Brothers, which is relevant to the federal RICO case, 68707P1. P.O.C. All right, that real-time terrorism is stalking with impossible light while you're referring to what is the immigrant population, the entity that's stalking, flying over the venue while you're listening to foreign languages being spoken, which is audible activity amongst a high immigrant population in Ontario, California, in San Bernardino County. That's the entity that's engaging in what is mental illness while they're listening to their exposure in real time. Go ahead, Satan. License 8SZY245, monitoring. License 6AAE052, impossible light, stalking with light, 7WON029. All right, and they engage with impunity today, crying in federal court tomorrow, 8YBS839, stalking with light. License 8MYU105. Every employee inside of Stater Brothers is gang stalking. The manager is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. She doesn't have to be on the job right now. You're prosecuting that entire establishment. While there is no work schedule that's going to limit your prosecution, there is no place of residency, no work schedule about where you live, whether you were home when the entity was gang stalking me, where you live. I'm capturing the fakes and I'm going to prosecute you. The entity is engaged in this pattern of conduct with the level of impunity that's directly relevant to the immigrant population as well. They're one entity, all right? And they're going to share in that level of impunity that I document and that malice that I document, all right? And the gang stalkers in Ontario, California that are immigrants are being deported. It's currently 10:07 a.m. where they're under the fake sun that's not also over 215 E.C. Street, and not also at the back of the library. Remember when I went in and I walked in, I took a picture of the fake sun over what would be looking at the College of Laverne, University of Laverne College of Law, while it's over 646 West Hall Boulevard. The two aren't happening at the same time. This is a population of special needs. They're engaging in criminal monitoring, and their demented behavioral pattern is shared, and it includes the population that's working in the police department, the fire department, the Ontario International Airport, and the entity that is gang stalking with regard to San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, the county, the courts. You're talking about every level of government as I'm exposing it. And the mental illness, while they've just lost in their whole endeavor. The demons pride themselves on targeting American citizens and getting away with it, and they've lost. And so now you're looking at what is unadulterated mental illness, special needs, okay, in HD, while the demons are hostile, okay? And that hostility is based on mental illness as well. What are you mad for? Satan's mad because he's lost? You lost in what? In targeting somebody? In trying to steal from them? In trying to artificially engineer some sort of evidence of mental illness because pursuant to a documented pattern of conduct of a corrupt government? That's what these demon-possessed minions are hostile toward. And guess what? While they engage in their hostility, their acts of hostility, it's accumulated in a body of evidence to prosecute them and diagnose them for actual mental illness, for actual special needs. 8 HRE 116. And their special needs is based on their inability to control themselves. They couldn't hide their mental illness if they wanted to. License plate. Under the 10:09 a.m. fake sun, 6RZC506, stalking with light, every single last one of them, including Ontario Village Shopping Center, including Stater Brothers, every venue inside of the shopping center. And this is criminal conduct that's removing the gang stalking Mayor Paul Leon. All right, the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department that wants to engage in molesting my backside with engineer light as demons that they are, manifesting as their psychopaths, hostile to their exposure, hostile to the way that their mental illness is described in words that you can understand. They're engaging in that pattern of conduct, and that's why gang stalking police officers are going to federal prison. License 5VOB057, like I said last night, you're going to federal prison. You're not passing go. You're not collecting $200. You're going straight to federal prison. That's exactly what's going to happen. License AKTIVO HB476 handicap. As I'm documenting this lawlessness amongst this special needs population, the Ontario Police Department is thereby being disbanded. This is who they're engaging in criminal summoning with. This is who they're engaging in stalking me with. This is who they're kidnapping me with. They're going to prison. They're going to federal prison. License 6KDH577, 9TUG032. And this is how you cause an implosion of a system that's relying on the criminal cooperation of the government and the people of the state. This is how you cause that implosion. So while they want to target through the people, I'm taking out the government. While the government acts directly, I'm taking out the people. License plate, because they're targeting together. License plate, demon, stalker with light, AWSC 366, EC51F70. Hostile demons with engineer light dragging behind their cars. Special needs, obvious. Special needs is obvious. 8UNU558, 7FDZ880. This is exactly what's anticipated to occur when you're exposing a bunch of mentally ill stalkers. And they are true to form. True to form. It's 10:11 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, you'll see Ontario Police gang stalking. Again, these are the special needs where the demon possessed that are gang stalking, and Satan that has some delusional sense of ego is being prosecuted and proven as terrorists while they're stalking under the fake sun on Vine and Holt with the people of the state who listen to me, obsess over me, listen to what I state, and then engage in what is more criminal conduct that I document. So it's relevant to what is the effort to retaliate. That's done with the intent to obstruct justice. 9PLV876, 9BSX534, under the fake sun, where the Ontario police are gang stalking and not engaged in police training, when the entity has the fake sun on Euclid Avenue at the OVITT Family Community Library when I'm entering at 10 a.m. and the fake sun's over me, you'll see the Ontario police gang stalking, while the Ontario International Airport is gang stalking while I'm at this intersection, where I've been at this intersection in the afternoon. The Ontario police are clearly stalking. 6JWW468, and they're doing so in the images that I will upload to the Google Drive. It is vehicle number 1130, license 1706974, and also engages in what is flashing the vehicle's light activity. That's a demon manifesting and communicating a threatening, a life-threatening communication of an intent to ongoing stalking and monitoring. The entity is engaged in that. Omnitrans is pacing. License 1302445, vehicle 1333, Omnitrans is gang stalking. That's the same Alan D. WAPNER, while the Ontario International Airport is flying in alignment to my person and making a U-turn pursuant to the pattern of conduct of stalking in the city of Ontario, where there's no deviation, where there's nothing but deviation from taking off to engage in what is stalking me by planes. Doing so while the Ontario police are crossing paths simultaneously and the police turn on. This is the significance of the light conduct. That's a special needs person operating an Ontario police vehicle. And so what they did together in sync, Ontario International Airport crossing path flying over me, Ontario police and the people of the state, hostile demons who are all special needs and who are hostile to my single-handedly exposing them and prosecuting them and also laying down the law that they're going to be subject to. Satan, with a huge delusional sense of oneself, this ego, where they're proud of targeting American citizens and the fact that it's over, and there's laws that are going to be prosecuted for now. This demon that's operating the Ontario police vehicle, again, that's vehicle number, they're engaging that P.O.C. This is relevant to what they're monitoring as I speak to it. Again, that's license 1706974, vehicle 1130, driving in the direction east at what is 10:14 a.m. and you will also see the entity gang stalking me by crossing path under the fake sun at 10:14 a.m. The fake sun's now over HOLT Boulevard, moving as I move. It was on VESTA while I was walking the back portion, coming from the back way. It was remaining over the Ontario Town Square and the OVITT Family Community Library at this time yesterday. It's remaining over the 507 North Euclid Avenue Starbucks when I was sitting there before this police department engaged in kidnapping. It was remaining at what is Woodside Senior Apartments over Tracy Banks' apartment as I'm documenting, and it's remaining from sunrise until sunset before the Ontario Police Department engaged in kidnapping, and the entity is now engaging in what is stalking under a fake sun and engaging in a pattern of conduct based on some antiquated idea about what is being unprepared for prosecution in 2025. Where I'm exposing you, I'm prosecuting you on the internet, and the feds already know that you're targeting. You're going to prison. Everybody that I'm documenting, and they're watching me expose you, you're going to federal prison. And I want to be clear, this license plate that you'll see uploaded to the Google Drive is targeting with the Ontario International Airport, which is relevant positioning, audible activity, and stalking by the City of Ontario using the airports, commercial airline planes, federal RICO case, and the gang stalkers of the Ontario Police, stalking all night in helicopters, stalking in engineered light, stalking under a fake sun. That is vehicle 1130, license 1706924. Yeah, I'm doing so at what is 10:14 a.m. That'll be uploaded to the Google Drive. That's another one that's going to prison. License 8UUV622. They're all sitting around stalking and listening to me simultaneously while they are still gang stalking. What is a federal prosecutor? Not the ordinary target individual, the federal prosecutor. These are the demons that are going to be prosecuted. 9 BLC 731. And that's what you get for engaging in targeting the person that's here to prosecute you and embarrass you. That's going to be built into the prosecution. It's a return to sender. All right. It is currently 10:19 a.m. This is P.O.C. This is the population of stalking. They are indeed special needs. All right. It is currently, again, 10:19 a.m. Union Pacific is going to be prosecuted. That's demonic. And this fake church, these Spanish-speaking demons at Vine and HOLT, they're not holding a church service. They're engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. Holding a church service under a fake sun, it's federal group stalking and monitoring. You got a whole bunch of demons in that building engaging in the P.O.C. and calling it a church service. They don't know Jesus Christ at all. They hate him. That's reality. But I'm not here to prosecute based on their being damned to hell. I'm going to prosecute them based on their criminal engagement in the pattern of conduct. VOS is VOZ, church. Gang stalking with the City of Ontario Airport, gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, gang stalking as an establishment. Okay? And the entity is engaging in this pursuant to that same exact P.O.C. It's currently, 10:20 a.m. This is P.O.C. license plate 6WYT084. And I want to be clear, no fake churches, any shelter for gang stalking immigrants as well. They're going to federal prison. You'll go to federal prison, gang stalking in a fake church service. You'll go to federal prison, gang stalking in the library. You'll go to federal prison, gang stalking at the police department. All right? License plate 6XNM668. This is P.O.C. Let me document a whole bunch of demons gang stalking. License 15479D2. That's Vos Church with Engineer Light. A demon that's, again, associated with the fake churches in California. The entity is gang stalking with the Ontario International Airport at the building of a fake church. All right? That's all they are in California. Church is a business in California amongst the demon possessed. 9HWU259. 9GBD384. Excuse me, 9GBD384. 7DGR514. 52586U2. 8KRR438. Yeah. Huh?
Can I help you with something?
Yeah, isn't there a church service?
Yeah.
So where do you get in?
They send me through the front.
Is that the front
Yeah.
entrance? That's the only entrance?
Yeah.
Doesn't this used to be First Christian Church?
Not no more.
Oh, because they
church.
So that's not open over there.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Thank you. So, are you not allowed to walk in the parking lot or something, or what?
Not through here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is the entity that's engaged in monitoring documentation. 8KRR438 is the third-party license plate. They're monitoring, and they're monitoring with the City of Ontario. These are a bunch of demons at a fake church, by the way. And the Ontario International Airport is gang stalking with VOZ Church. I've already documented them. They're engaged in domestic terrorism. They are not engaged in, it sure is. It's on the sidewalk. License SWZ6015. This is P.O.C. They're asking questions that they know the answer to while they're monitoring under the fake sun, holding fake fake church services that are not in honor of Christ Jesus himself. That's just speaking to, again, the demons that are making businesses out of church. But this is federal group stalking and monitoring with the government. All right, license, and asking me about where am I going while I'm in the parking lot is something that knows that someone that's asking that they know that they're being documented. 7FFL539, 8FGC365, 8TQK030, 6ALG435. This is P.O.C. All right, this is exposing another fake church. Remember when I'm at Diamond Bar Golden Springs in Diamond Bar, and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is gang stalking at that fake church? The entity uses the name of Jesus as a business, all right? Doing so under the fake sun. These are demons that are engaging in that pattern of conduct, and you need to understand them. You'll know them by their deeds. They're engaged in light activity, relevant positioning, and these are demons that are engaged in what is the business of fake churches in California, and I will prosecute you for that. The federal prosecution, all the same. They're not different from gang stalking at the OVITT Family Community Library. They're just calling themselves Vos Church. That's P.O.C. All right, license plate. Let me see, 66785M3. That's P.O.C. And they're acting specifically with the Ontario International Airport and the Ontario Police Department. Everybody that I just documented. 47830K3. All right, this fake church that worships Satan, it's at the intersection of Vine and Holt Boulevard in Ontario, California. Yet another one. They're all the same, just a different name. They worship Satan and you know them by what they do, not by the name that they say out loud and holding up names like they're engaging in any worship. No, they're not. They're engaged in monitoring. They're engaged in gang stalking, criminal activity, and also it's demonic. It's not just any criminal activity. They're not stealing candy bars from the store. All right, they're engaged in federal group stalking monitoring. These are demons that are gang stalking. And demons like to congregate in California and play church. License 9MPW684, 6445, 6445, I can't really see that one. 9SUY156, 4XFE223. This demon's license plate is 9MPW684. That's what it is. All right, this is P.O.C. This is intersection Holt and Fern Avenue. Remember, the entity is keeping the fake son of all the addresses that I just documented. And now, while I'm on Holt Boulevard, that's how you know the demons are engaging in the pattern of conduct. The fake sun is over that building. That building happens to be a church, and that's how it's not the true church. It's Satan's, again, another den of demons. That's Satan's sanctuary, and they're gang stalking with the state. Okay, and the demon possessed like to call it a summer school celebration. They like to call it a farmer's market. They like to call it movie night. They like to call it a Sunday morning church service. 8XWF900. You can call it whatever you want. It's going to be part of a federal prosecution. 9LXW930. This is public corruption. Every fake church, every building, every establishment, every location, including where these demons reside. License plate. BZ791, handicap. P.O.C. 8XWF900. All right, and what you listen to are the demons that wanted me to stop getting the license plates inside of that parking lot. And the reason why is their knowledge of that. Ordinarily, you would not be paying it because they're monitoring. They're monitoring. They're paying very close attention to what I'm doing because I'm documenting. Ordinarily, walking into the parking lot is not something that's going to be cause for attention. 5LER242, 8RDR627, 9PCM330. All right, and they're engaging in that while they know that they're being documented. All the demons that are sitting in there playing church know that I was reading their license plates. That's what that was, okay? And that knowledge of that is, again, LAPD is keeping a fake sun over me in Los Angeles at this time of year. Stalking me by helicopters, where the sun does not remain over one apartment complex, over one person's head in an apartment complex, rising in alignment to that person's apartment, setting in alignment to that same person's apartment in the evening. That's identifying the demons that are gang stalking, and that evidence will be used against Vos Church. That's a gang stalker in Ontario, California. All right, it is currently 10:27 a.m. You need to understand that the special needs population, they play church. And what the entity is going to learn is that Christ Jesus is nothing to play with. His name is nothing to play with. 9NZB586, 9UCX430. And I have already been on Holt Boulevard documenting this neighborhood where Vos Church is gang stalking. In the evening, and the fake sun is over me at this exact same location, by the way, this car wash, this battle lab, Fiesta Motors, the United States Postal Service at 123 West Holt Boulevard, 9NNB932. I've already documented this. This is why I referred to First Christian Church. It used to be a different church name, and I've already been there. I'm dealing with demons who are malicious, and so everything, I already know the answer about whatever it is that I'm stating. So you're listening to me, just document. I'm documenting everything. Okay, I've already been here and documented it. The fake sun is over me in the morning. It's over me and documenting the Ontario Police Department literally stalking by getting their car washed in relevant position under the afternoon fake sun. Gang stalking me while I'm at this same venue, and I went back and captured it in the evening to show you that the Ontario Police Department are a bunch of demons stalking who are special needs, while this fake sun is documented at this same car wash at 6 p.m. The entity is engaging what is nothing other than shared by an entity. So it's not just to expose the car wash. The car wash is engaging in the statewide pattern of conduct. 8FLX971. It's already on the record. It's already done. 8XXZ359. So they're sitting around stalking, and they're sitting around, and that third party stalking with light. That's special needs, okay? The entity that engages in a supernatural pattern of conduct is one that is certifiable, okay? Certifiable special needs. And that is a pattern of conduct that cannot be made up. I couldn't make it up. This talking about light conduct under the fake sun, I could not make it up. License 8P32312. This looks like the demon from Starbucks. 5VOG870. That's the little psychopath that paces a lot. That's Vivian from 507 North Euclid Avenue. She can't help herself. She's gang stalking me in particular. It's not a coincidence. The fake sun is over me. This is the removal of all coincidences, especially when they are Starbucks is witnessing me prosecute them. Okay, even more so than when I was sitting inside of the cafe. All right, and this is Vivian's going to federal prison. She's monitoring me at Starbucks, and she's going to federal prison for engaging in kidnapping with the Ontario Police Department. But nonetheless, crossing path that 5VOG license plate. She's driving that red Civic at Fiesta Motors. I'm at C Street, and what is the cross street over here? but I know it's 220 West Holt Boulevard. This is the address at Fiesta Motors. And my body of evidence is already published online. Yeah, they don't have the street signs over here. But it's Fiesta Motors at 220 West Holt Boulevard in Ontario, California. And I'm in Tracy Banks' vehicle while the fake sun is rising over 630 North Fern Avenue, not Woodside Senior Apartments. It's a difference. Not over through the window of Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. Not over the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. Not in Los Angeles through my living room window over the hillside. It is not through the hotel window of Courtyard by Marriott in Monrovia, California. It's not in Las Vegas, Nevada at Courtyard by Marriott off of Dean Martin Road in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's not there. It's remaining on 630 North Fern through the window of the vehicle that I'm sleeping in. And they're keeping that fixed. And while I'm in Tracy Banks' vehicle, while we drive down Fern Street, I've captured it day in and day out how she's been gang stalking her own daughter, maintaining a secret conservatorship. And she thought that gang stalking me with the state of California while simultaneously defaming my character behind my back with everybody that I know. And they're all going to federal prison because they're engaging in this, lying on my character while this is going on. And they were waiting for me to die, waiting for me to end up permanently kidnapped so that they can steal my property. Everybody that engaged in that is going to federal prison. As surely as I prosecute and document 7YUN 626, they're gang stalking me with the people of the state, including Tracy Banks and everybody that bore false witness in the corrupt courts. Everybody that did so, they're going to federal prison. All right, what I'm documenting is inhumane and unconstitutional, and the gang stalking conduct of the Ontario Police Department literally puts a nail in the head. You could not get any more idiotic with regard to handing over a surefire and complete body of evidence of prosecution for targeting. Okay, it is the entity that's engaging in that at 220 West Holt Boulevard. I'm capturing on video on Holt Boulevard from morning until evening. The entity engaged in the ridiculous conduct of having a fake sun setting on this street. And this is where I would sleep at the museum, where the entity engaged in criminal summoning on June 11, 2025. Exercising authority that they don't have as a department while they're stalking me, and referring to the municipal code while they have double shadows. This is laughable. What the demons, these special needs, engage in stalking me and in trying to act like they're engaged in law enforcement. Stalking and law enforcement are not the same. And that's what the Ontario Police Department are engaged in. This is what they do on June 11, 2025 at the Ontario Museum, where I documented the sunrise and the sunset. I documented ongoing terrorism by helicopter, including in 2025, but I've been documenting it historically while they've been stalking for years, while the entity sought to engage in this ongoing conspiracy behind my back about property the entity never told me about, defaming my character secretly in court hearings that I know nothing about, while they are engaging what is defaming my character and making up information about me. I've never been a criminal. I've never been mentally ill. I've been the best friend. I've been the best daughter. I've been the best sister. And that's not being like, that's just the truth, because I'm a loyal person and a loving person to those who are in my life. And it's just, it's something that requires justice. That's what I'll say that. Because they're all forgiven. They're all forgiven. It's perfectly fine. You're going to federal prison though. License 9CFA022. You're going to federal prison. License 8YYT089. And your co-defendants, the people out here, the people of the state of California, this is your return to sender. These fools are why you're going to federal prison as well. 5GPP142, you're going to federal prison. You're going to federal prison. It's currently, oops, let me get the time right now, hold on. The fake sun is remaining over me on Holt Boulevard. I have not been on Holt Boulevard at all, so I'm going to document this. The entity is, the sun's nowhere over the OVITT Family Community Library. It's not over the elevator staircase. It's not over the entrance of the, it's not over the Ontario Town Square. The entity is keeping it over me as I'm walking down the street. And this is where the entity, all manner of time during the day, the Ontario International Airport gang stalking, all the airlines gang stalking under this fake sun that's on Holt Boulevard over me from morning until evening. There is a history of evidence while these fools are still gang stalking. And the people of the state whose name I know in particular, who sat in courtrooms defaming my character while they thought I was never going to learn about it, they thought that I was going to end up dead somewhere. This is unfortunately what these demons were banking on. And you did it to somebody that's prosecuting you at the same time. You just thought that my evidence was never going to go anywhere. You thought it was going to be discarded. You thought that you were going to profit off of my intellectual property at that. And guess what? You're going to federal prison with it. Buy it. They are all going to federal prison while I'm documenting the city of Ontario, providing evidence against everybody that bore false witness, because this is the system that they were counting on, causing me to appear mentally ill and supporting all of the libelous and defamatory communications and I would say it's not even evidence. They're engaged in defaming me in criminal acts by the court, because they're not even legitimate acts of authority. The entity that's engaged in surveillance, they don't have jurisdiction in courts. They don't. So I just want to be clear. I have comprehensively covered what the entities sought to engage in against me. What the federal government has and what the federal government will give details about is about the details about everything and how the entity sought to target me and all the details pertaining to that. But I've covered the case in chief. The entities engaged in gang stalking thought that they were going to steal from me and thought that gang stalking was going to be the thing that causes me to unravel, and they'll be able to support all the lies that they submitted in court, and which was all for the purpose of stealing. This is what Satan does, by the way. The demon-possessed are materialistic. They worship things. They worship things that are going to burn up. They worship things that they cannot take with them when they die. They worship things that other people can take from them. They worship things that spoil and rotten and corrode and rust. All right, this is what they do, and they being the people that say whose name I know, like the Eric Corey Spencer, Jason Isaac Fields, Tracy Banks, Shanita Ramaya McLean. Sad to say it, Ariana, Elena Lopez, Carrie Heberlin, you're going to prison. You're going to federal prison. License 5WRJ649. And this is why you're going to federal prison. This right here that you're listening and you're witnessing, you're going to federal prison for this. Your conspiracy to murder me for money by gang stalking. All right, and acting and cooperating with this psychopath, Tracy Banks, that was the worst thing you could have ever done. I just want to be clear, I would have given you money. I would have gave you some money, okay? I would have gave it to you. All right, the entity is engaging in this P.O.C. with the entire city of Ontario, and this is the formula for federal prison, where your family's gang stalking you, where your friends, your co-workers, your classmates, your neighborhood are targeting like the people that say that are closest to you are going to federal prison. License 6GRM 608 9RNN 915 98NS 198. I am at T-Mobile at 101 Southeast Avenue, where I am here in the evening. I'm here in the middle of the afternoon, and I'm here early in the morning, and the fake sun is over me right now. I got the wrong phone in my hand. Hold on. And I'm here in the morning right now at 10:37 a.m., where this population of special needs, they're gang stalking. They're gang stalking right now, and the evidence is already complete, proving that they're gang stalking. And they're gang stalking with the people of the state whose name I know. License, and they're going to federal prison. Their criminal conduct is helping each other. They're incriminating each other. They're going to prison. AEAS 480, 9FYD 931. 8MOT 328, 9TJY 228, all under the fake sun at Euclid and Holt Boulevard, where the video evidence is already published on the internet for everyone to look at. The fake sun is over me. Amazon Prime, for example, gang stalking. The Ontario Police Department gang stalking under this fake sun that's over me at 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. This is an entity that's the special needs population that is gang stalking, and they're gang stalking the person that is prosecuting them. All right, this is called a return to sender. These are witches and warlocks. This is a witch coven. This is a non-elite secret society, and the secret is out. The secret has been out. All right, and the secret is out that anybody that had a stake in and has already stolen my property, you're going to prison. Anybody engaged in kidnapping me, you're going to prison. Anybody engaged in defaming my character and criminal acts committed by corrupt courts that are engaged in surveillance in California, you're going to prison. Anybody facilitating any of the above, meaning aiding in defaming my character, violating privacy, you're going to federal prison. All right? And this is relevant to, again, the necessity of changing the laws in this country and in California, because you can have any group of special needs people just lying on your character in order to exercise authority over your property under the Welfare and Institutions Code. That's entirely unconstitutional. It's entirely unconstitutional, and it's not a legitimate interest of the government at all. And this is going to change. 777-MD13, 6SPG181. It's unconstitutionally vague. It's and overbroad. Both constitutional arguments with regard to what the entity is doing under the Welfare Institutions Code through things such as conservatorships and powers of attorney. And it is something that American citizens have a right to maintain control of. I don't care if you don't like that they drink a lot of alcohol and you don't like how they abuse their own money. Okay, you can use the worst case scenario. If they're an alcoholic, it's none of your business. That's their money. They can buy whatever they want. Okay, the entity is engaging in what is unconstitutional means, and it's inherent to what is a corrupt system. They want their hands on your money, on your property, and will engage in targeting you in order to make up information in order to do so. And I'm showing, first of all, they lied on me in order to do it. But even were American citizens that do, maybe you have an addiction, maybe you have some shortcoming, maybe you have some past. It's not a legitimate interest of the government to interfere with your liberty rights, your property rights. Unless you are giving another person the ability to exercise control over your property, it's not a legitimate government interest, especially where the government's engaged in targeting American citizens. The landscape has now changed. The landscape has changed now. And it is not a legitimate government interest, and the risk is higher than the proposed benefits of such laws. All right, and this is something that is necessarily going to change. It's entirely unconstitutional. Entirely unconstitutional. It is currently, by the way, 10:41 a.m. The fake sun is over me at the very heavily documented intersection 150 East Holt Boulevard at Holt Boulevard and Euclid Avenue. I've been documenting these demons for years, okay? Fake sun from rise until set at this very intersection. The fake sun is over me right here. This is literally where the what are they that saying? The rooster comes to roost, however you may say that saying. It's appropriate right here. It's fitting. This is a population of stalkers. This is a special needs population. These are the demons monitoring my vagina. They are at this far location. They're monitoring in the library. Where I'm going with the fake sun is letting you know how far the pattern of conduct goes. It's just the fake sun is over me as I'm showing you the proof of a population stalking me. The entire city of Ontario knows when I pull my panties down. They know what's going on in the bathroom. While one of these demons, the special needs defendants, they go into the bathroom. That's how much they're stalking me. They're not relieving themselves. No, they're not under the fake sun. Relieving themselves is a means of activity creation in the engineered light that fills that venue. Under the fake sun that remains over that venue. AMR, gang stalking, license plate, 05092X3. Hold on, let me get that. Those are the same stalkers monitoring at Starbucks. There's no sign over Starbucks. Starbucks is being federally prosecuted. They're engaged in monitoring American citizens in this country. And Starbucks is hostile to you enforcing your constitutional rights. In fact, Starbucks engages in and facilitates kidnappings of American citizens that enforce their privacy rights, that enforce their rights to not be subject to surveillance. That's what Starbucks is. That's what Starbucks is into. All right, and Starbucks wants to make money off of you while doing it. License plate. 9EVH694. These are the sex offenders that are under a fake sun, gang stalking via traffic, systematic surveillance. 9SYU444. FVRBLSD. Don't forget the impossible light you saw inside of that laundry room this morning. Irreconcilable light activity. Irreconcilable. This is the population that is stalking and monitoring my vagina. They're gross sex offenders. All right, the nuclear family in California is a gang stalker. They're demon-possessed special needs. And Satan's population of people wants to appear substantially similar to a healthy, normal, sane individual. This is psychopathic behavior that knows what's socially acceptable, and they're engaging in what is masquerading as saying these are domestic terrorists and they are a threat to the public. In the same way that they are gang stalking, unbeknownst to you, and I've exposed that, you need to understand that these are ticking time bombs. They're essentially sleepers. And there is a time where, I want to be clear, their hostility toward mankind, meaning, yes, they hate themselves as well. Their hostility toward mankind because they have a demonic spirit in them that hates them. Satan hates you. You're made in the image of God. He hates you. He will use you as he hates you, though, and you are deceived by that spirit as you engage in what is hatred amongst another person. This is what gang stalking is. It's violence. It's inhumanity. The entity is engaging this. I want to be clear. These are sleepers. They engage in violence, egregious acts of violence against the public, and this is exactly what they are going to do. This is what gang stalking is, but I want to be clear. It's going to progress, and it's going to get more violent. It's going to become more prevalent. This is the threat behind the special needs population that is gang stalking right now. Masquerading as police departments, masquerading as sheriff's departments, masquerading as fire departments, masquerading as public officials, bodies of government. This population that's engaging in surveillance, unbeknownst to American citizens in this country. That's the threat inherent to, and these demons tried to steal property from me. And that's why the Lord exposed them and everything that they're into, because they came for the wrong person. Okay? They came for the wrong person, and everybody that defamed my character in court, not only is it proof that you're a liar and you're a demon, you're going to federal prison. And yes, I do forgive you, but you're going to federal prison. Forgiveness has nothing to do with justice. You're going to federal prison. As is the case with any American citizen in this country. You engage in domestic terrorism in this country, it's not tolerated from demons across the globe, and it's not going to be tolerated in this country. License plate 9SXV792, 9MDH996, 8BQJ009. They're going to federal prison. They're gang stalking with the people of the state that are bearing false witness in corrupt courts. This is the system that they are engaging in together, and that's why the people of the state whose name I know who sat in courthouses and defamed my character, they're going to federal prison. And this is how the demon-possessed have put themselves in prison. They put themselves in asylums. They put themselves in that pickle with regard to having a criminal record so that everybody knows who they are. So they can't go around as ticking time bombs unsuspected, which is a threat. That's a harm. That's a threat of harm to American citizens that don't know what's going on. All right? It's currently, again, 10:46 a.m., and this is P.O.C. P667X0. This is another hideous demon engaging what is stalking in the path. You'll see the fake sun move as I move. Stalking in the path in an alley. And the entity is engaging in this ridiculous conduct. Oh, let me capture it on video. This is the entity that is not taking off right here. This is stalking, just to engage in crossing path. That's Southwest Airlines as well. Southwest Airlines is relevant to what the federal RICO case. Every airlines that's engaging in what is maintaining business in California, they're maintaining flights, they're going to be prosecuted in the federal RICO case against the government. This is criminal conduct, and they literally just engage in rising over the B&G Plaza and making a U-turn, and they're doing so pursuant to knowledge about my recording the video. And their knowledge and everything that I just stated is deduced from the impossibility that this is the sun. All right, and I've documented this same exact intersection, Metro 1 and 2 apartments, 150 East Hope Boulevard, the fake sun here in the evening. All right, it's already in the body of evidence. This entire city is engaged in federal group stalking monitoring, and every business, including Southwest Airlines, is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, gang stalking, and they are a special needs population. This is Public Corruption Exposed. It's currently 10:48 a.m. There's no sun over the OVITT Family Community Library, by the way, while you're seeing it here over me. The OVITT Family Community Library is over there. This is not rocket science. It's not over two places at the same time, and there's only one sun. And this is also not in Florida. It's not in New York. It's not in Texas. It's not in Minnesota. It's not over Los Angeles like in the natural environment where it would be. Los Angeles was gang stalking me as I remained at Alvarado Gardens. This is P.O.C. All right, that's capturing video. The entity is engaged in targeting while this demon riddled in tattoos all over his face. This hideous demon is gang stalking me, and that's a threat that the government poses to you when they're targeting. This is a threat that the people of the state, whose name I know, who bore false witness, defaming me in court. That's the threat that they all pose to me. They're going to federal prison. Okay, license 5CGF378. 7B77676, City of Ontario gang stalking again. Let me show you. All right, this is the entity seconds later engaging in hovering over 150 East Hope Boulevard. That's not taking off from the Ontario International Airport. That's also amplified audible activity. And the entity is engaging in what is west of this location, hovering over the Stater Brothers parking lot, stalking while the fake sun is over that parking lot. Northwest of this location, over 325 West G Street, where they're not taking off over there, but they're acting like they're taking off right here where I'm at, deducing intent to engage in the elements of monitoring and the evidence of stalking by a special needs population that shall be removed from having pilot licensure, where in California and in Ontario, the entity is using it for criminal surveillance. 9JTS151 is monitoring me while the City of Ontario maintains aerial surveillance in concert with them. You're not taking off from 2500 Airport Drive right here. And you also aren't over 325 West G Street, which was much more farther over there. So what are they doing? Flying from the airport over there and hovering throughout the entirety of the city, engaging in donuts, and then taking off over 325 West G Street, which also has engineered light where the fake sun is rising over me in the morning. This is the entity that's gang stalking. This is the special needs population that is not too bright. All right, and this is what's putting Tracy Banks and every other gang stalker that defamed my character in courts concerning property that they are not getting. They're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. All right, this is the entity engaging in, again, high frequency of stalking by planes. 8JHU63U. This is P.O.C. at Lemon and Holt Boulevard, and this is evidence of what is not the sun over Starbucks that engage in kidnapping, not the sun over Woodside Senior Apartments, where I'm documenting that fake sun rising and setting over Tracy Banks' apartment, an engineer light that filled her apartment just like it fills Starbucks. All right, just like it fills the OVITT Family Community Library. And they're going to federal prison. They engage in kidnapping with the Ontario Fire Department. That's stalking in the path. License 6PXA523. The entire Metro 102 apartment complex, the entire Ontario Village Square townhomes, the entity of gang stalking in traffic, and that's Michael Gerken's admission to monitoring my vagina while demons are manifesting. That's light activity and audible activity, where they sound sirens at the intersection as I arrive at Lemon and Holt. Those demons are engaged in surveillance using a fire department, using the resources of a fire department, criminally facilitation, federal group stalking and monitoring, and they're doing so as they are stalking in the path at what is Lemon and B Street, okay? The entities engaged in criminal summoning just like they are yesterday. Remember, the fake sun is still remaining over the OVITT Family Community Library, where the entity is engaged in criminal summoning in the evening. At the Ontario Town Square, the same legal analysis, 9KDW190. Everything that the demons engage in other words, is surrounded. There is no getting out of the evidence of targeting me. This is the special needs population that was never equipped to target me and withstand what is an exposure for it, and what are the consequences for it. And the consequences are exactly what I've dictated. Michael Gerken is not going to remain as any sort of fire chief. He's not remaining, and neither are any of the gang stalkers, which is unheard of, but only in California, only in America, will gang stalking coexist with being a firefighter. You are not engaged in actual firefighting, and since you're more intrigued with my vagina and more interested in using fire trucks to engage in absurdly demented methods of stalking, you will be relieved from your duties. They're wasting money, and it's a criminal misuse of resources. The public is better off without, okay? It's the same with the police department that commits kidnappings. It's the same with the airport that's using a whole bunch of planes, a whole bunch of airplane fuel. With a whole bunch of demons with nothing else to do, they're stalking me, sitting in the middle of the street under a fake sun. That's the special needs population. They are demonstrating why they are going to be discarded. They have removed themselves. They've exposed themselves. They've imprisoned themselves. They've diagnosed themselves. Okay, I just want to be clear. That's the Ontario Fire Department engaged in criminal summoning. It's 10:53 a.m. They're doing it under a fake sun. They are doing it while they're engaging in that pattern of conduct where the fake sun is far from being at Lemon and Holt Boulevard, which is proof of the Ontario Fire Department targeting. And demons target with light and audible activity under the engineered environment. 8HXN184. Engineer light across the gang stalkers of Metro 102 while that demon crosses path, engaging in criminal summoning with the Ontario Fire Department. License 9FZJ10086882C3, 5JAB003, 8SOR995, 9KST244, 9GVC971, 7ZNN509. Alrighty, and you are always mindful of the fact that a bunch of psychopaths, a bunch of weirdo, sex-offending stalkers, the demon-possessed, the special needs, that's how much of a threat they are, because that's how demented they are. That's how desperate they are. That's how obsessed they are. They sit in the library stalking me. All they're doing is stalking, including as they clock in at work, they're there stalking. There's no sun over the library. There's no sun that's over the window of the staircase. They're sitting around in engineer light being freak weirdos stalking, and the embarrassing truth is out, and they sit around stalking with noise, stalking with light, pacing around like psychopaths. This is the special needs population that engages in that pattern of conduct with the government inside of a facilitating venue. And that is the prosecution of every corrupt business, especially those that engage in kidnapping, because you're going to federal prison for it. You're going to federal prison. 8FMR814. 9EEJ107, EB38K69, that's a paper plate. And let me show you the fake sun over Metro 102, where I'm at, where the entity engages in criminal summoning. The Ontario Fire Department itself is a crime scene, capturing the fake sun over the Ontario Police Department. That's not the sun. The police station is where federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. It's literally a crime scene. The feds can raid that police station because they're engaged in criminal activity with the people of the state. Literally, and that's the evidence, the direct evidence that's on the internet. And so is every other government building. The city hall, the fire stations, the police station, the sheriff's departments. All right, and I'm documenting a wealth of state facilitating venues, by the way, on the venue of the internet. At what point ever, while the entity's keeping the fake sun over me on Holt Boulevard today, because it hasn't been on Holt Boulevard because I have not been on Holt Boulevard, but since I'm on Holt Boulevard today, this is where the entity had the fake sun and I documented it. The entity is keeping the fake sun, but when is it going to be over the Palmdale, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department? Because that's on the internet. The fake sun is in alignment to me in Palmdale, California, the sheriff's station in Palmdale. When in the natural environment is that ever happening? Is there more than one sun? Because if there is, that's exactly what I'm talking about, the specific environment. All right, this environment is speaking to what is surveillance. And it's entirely demonic. This is speaking to public corruption that's shared by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles Police Department. You already know that they're gang stalking. They engaged in necessarily wearing diapers as many times as I documented them stalking in helicopters under the fake sun and at nightfall when I'm in my apartment. And they're targeting me, engaging in the sex offense. All right, license 7YNY765, that's Securitas gang stalking on the job as well. The entity is engaging in this P.O.C. and the fake sun crawls as I walk toward the OVITT Family Community Library. Whereas the entity is going to have this fake sun, there is no reconciling the direct evidence of that same exact pattern of conduct. There's no reconciling it. That's how you understand that the Ontario police are gang stalking when they're driving by me, crossing path, criminal conduct, no warrant or probable cause to engage in that malicious effort of stalking an American citizen and psychologically torturing them while you're engaging in surveillance of their evidence as well, because they have now engaged in targeting a federal prosecutor. License 36170P2, demon, DY93A32, paper plate of a demon. License plate 8YVH569, demon. And guess what else crossed path at this intersection? The Ontario Fire Department, demons. Gang stalking the same. Demons in government vehicles, in other words, demons in their own quote-unquote private vehicles. There's no privacy here. They're all engaged in surveillance. But nonetheless, this is the entity that's engaging in that P.O.C. and there's no reconcile. That's how you know the Ontario police are stalking me, whereas at 4:07 p.m., how is the sun over this same street? Because they're stalking. How is the sun over the same street at 6:26 p.m. when I'm showing you video of a demon that's wearing an Ontario police uniform? Because they're stalking, just like I said they are. Just like the environment and their behavioral pattern demonstrates that they are, because their pattern of conduct is supernatural. They're demons. And they are indeed special needs. And it's a population of them. They like to call gang stalking summer school celebrations. They like to call gang stalking a farmer's market. They like to call gang stalking what is family night at the town square. They like to call gang stalking what is the operation of the ordinary business, the coffee, whatever their business is. That's what they're engaged in, gang stalking. Satan is just giving it a title, a deceptive title. It's distracting. And when you're understanding the pattern of conduct, you're not distracted anymore. You see the same exact elements and don't ever lose sight of that. No matter what Satan tries to do, including kidnapping and harassment. Because those demons, don't be deceived. They're going to prison. License 9MCV127. They're going to federal prison. All right, this is, don't forget what Amazon Prime is doing under the fake sun monitoring my vagina. As I documented them with engineered light, peculiarized light, 7G94547. And peculiarized light is what is referred to, you would see like hazard lights or your turn signals, a method of flashing light. It's significant, it's very demonic. The demons are maintaining this method of light under what I've exposed as a fake sun, under what I've exposed as engineered light. And this is routine conduct that they engage in. So you're seeing the government engaging in while they use municipality vehicles, while they use construction vehicles, while the demons use their vehicles, their hazard lights, while they're appearing to be doing something that's appropriate, that would require that. Oh, I'm loading and unloading. That's why my hazard lights are on. You're looking up at the specific environment. It's the fake sun. Amazon Prime is outside of this same C Streets turn circle monitoring my vagina. That's why I took a picture of the sexual violence that company's been engaged in for years, gang stalking me as a third party. And by the way, they do it with impunity. They like for me to document them crossing paths as I come out the entrance of the OVITT Family Community Library, and that's going to be noted when I prosecute that company and the employees. 8VXW167. They are today, remember, you're dealing with a demonic spirit. Satan is a loser. Satan is a loser, and Satan is a delusional psychopath. He's a wannabe, and he's not even a part of the club. He's not. And it's the same for the delusional, demon-possessed gang stalkers. They're mad because they're stalking me, and I could not care less about them. But I'm going to document you because you don't have a right to be stalking me, and I'm going to prosecute you and stop you from stalking me. 9SPE529, 9COL445. And they're engaged in the same criminal conduct that hours from now where the same crime scene is present. That's Amazon Prime stalking with flashing light at this same turn circle. I took a picture of it because it's the evidence of Amazon Prime, the company engaging in a sex offense. Federal stalking pursuant to monitoring my vagina in the bathroom of this OVITT Family Community Library where the sun was not already present. It remains over me as I arrive at the venue, which is out of conformity with the natural environment. If it's the sun over the library at 9:48 a.m., then that means I would be walking toward it already at the venue because the sun is not some personal item over all of us everywhere going in all manner of directions over all of us if there's no targeted individual. Okay, it's an untenable position. And that's why you document Satan, because Satan is the father of lies. Satan is residing in the people of the state. These are the special needs population that's engaged in gang stalking, and they will be removed from the positions where they are a threat to the public. The gang stalkers of the police department, the sheriff's department, the courthouses, as I'm showing you, the airports, the heliports, which are typically attributed to, if not a private party, but a police department, where they're engaged in targeting. They're targeting, and it's relevant to psychological torture. Remember, these demons are engaging in psychological warfare. So they're sitting up monitoring you and then engaging in whatever it is that you observe, or for, in my instance, what I document. And so these fools will do more of it, I'm prosecuting you with it, fool. These are demons that are unintelligent defendants. 8RFG618. And what it has provided is proof to you about the spiritual realm, about the demon possession, about demonic activity, about what is targeting that's happening amongst the demon possessed. And it's a diligent system amongst the demon possessed. And it's not a matter of intelligence. It's a matter of what is spiritual. That's how they have that precise demonic synchronicity. Obviously, it's not about intelligence. If anybody was intelligent, they would have found another way to engage in what they're doing. They're not. They can't. They also would not be found engaging in, why would you provide 3 additional videos of stalking in helicopter? You're stalking in helicopters. That's going directly to the government. The government's intertwined in what I've documented, the people of the state are people that don't want lawsuits for engaging in what is conduct that's in conformity to a long documented pattern of conduct. If you were intelligent, if you were understanding that it's going in federal court, not some spiritual realm where some spell work is going to be, no, that's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's going in a court. I'm going to prosecute you in a court. Like there's going to be a hearing and there's going to be a ruling and it's going to be in my favor. It's going to be in my favor. This is what the entity doesn't. They've been doing too much spell work. They've been doing too much voodoo. They've been doing too much witchcraft. They've been engaged in too much abuse of power and expecting Satan to come through at the last minute. No, that only works against them. That only works against those that are in darkness. That does not work against those who are in Christ Jesus, who are on assignment for Christ Jesus. It's not working. It's not going to happen. And since you are so delusional, because that's how that spiritual, that delusion, that inability to understand that your spell work isn't working, guess what? In the physical, that's going to be addressed with words that have meaning with regard to delusion, mental illness, special needs, this ongoing impulses that are harmful to other people, meaning a diagnosis for your criminal conduct, which is also a threat to the public. There's a way to handle all that. And it's supported with tangible evidence while you're using invisible witchcraft that's ineffective. It's not working. It's not working. And it's not going to work. I'm prosecuting you with tangible evidence. And on top of that, I bind you in Jesus' name. You have no authority. None whatsoever. And I'm embarrassing you. That's how you know you have no authority. You cannot do it. You cannot return to sender a return to sender. Okay? And my return to sender is merely walking in victory. Okay? He handles my battles. You already lost on day one. You just didn't know what you were looking at. You thought it was a game when I was putting videos on the internet. You thought it was a joke. You thought it was funny because you don't understand what's happening to you. Because you are inferior. Because you are beneath my feet. Literally. You lost already a long time ago. And you're going to face federal prison for it. All right? It's currently, again, while the entity is keeping a fake sun over the venue, I've returned to the Ontario Town Square at 11:05 a.m. This is the P.O.C. And the entity following with the fake sun. And the government, the entity, is following from place to place. This is, again, evidence of an entity, a public entity that is also a demonic entity. This is a special needs population, and they are engaged in stalking from place to place, following me around everywhere, and that includes inside of bathrooms, all right, and all the ways in which they do so. All right, it's currently 11:05 a.m. This is P.O.C. Those are the demons. That's the special needs stalking everywhere, including in the bathroom of the OVITT Family Community Library, where you would see the fake sun over the edge as I'm walking toward the entrance. These are the sex offenders. This is the special needs population. These are the psychopaths who are violent sex offenders stalking in places such as restrooms, which is what the American people need to know. And it's also the prosecution for a bunch of sex offenders who have engaged in repeated kidnapping and harassment, while their sexual violence is necessarily published on the internet, where you are going to prosecute the government engaging in things such as surveillance in bathrooms, and you're also going to prosecute them as sex offenders. It is state action where they're in the bathroom, stalking in the path, creating activity, which is what you heard, and in operation of communication devices, federal stalking in the bathroom, which is what you will see in the images. And these are, again, the special needs population, psychopath stalking with light, and then they follow you into the bathroom, stalking. And that's all you're doing under a fake sun and an engineer light. It's currently 1:16 p.m. at 215 E.C. Street. The entity is engaging in what is surveilling, monitoring my vagina, and going to the extent to make sure that they can maintain positioning around me and pace around me and maintain activity with knowledge about what's going on with my vagina, knowing when I pull my panties down, pacing and creating activity pursuant to that demonic and predatory pattern of conduct. This is that psychopathic behavior and that sexually perverted conduct pursuant to a pattern of conduct that's happening at every business. Every business is engaged in gang stalking. Gang stalking is an exceedingly violent sex offense. This is P.O.C. It's 1:17 p.m. All right, following Amazon Prime engaging in what is terrorism, stalking, doing so as a third party, and doing so in concert with the state at the facilitating venue of the Ontario OVITT Family Community Library. The entity is stalking with light. This is the people of the state again. Amazon Prime represents the commercial means. The people of the state who you see as I document them and I read their license plates and I take pictures of them and they're openly stalking. That same population is stalking, crossing path at the C Street turn circle, while terrorizing me, the person whom they are targeting under the 4 p.m. fake sun, speaking to all of them, stalking me together. This is the special needs population, stalking with impossible light underneath the covered structure of the side of the library, where Amazon Prime is also gang stalking me. It's currently 4:28 p.m. This is terrorism that the people of the state are going to be prosecuted for. P.O.C. The Ontario International Airport engaging in what is criminal monitoring regarding commercial airline planes, taking flights, flying in directions, hovering over the venue in ways that are not published on the Ontario International Airport website. They're gang stalking at the OVITT Family Community Library. It's 5:04 p.m. This is P.O.C.
5:14 p.m. Same criminal conduct. Fake son remains at the OVITT Family Community Library. P.O.C. 5:16 p.m. Ontario International Airport. Gang stalking. 6:07 p.m. The Ontario International Airport, in concert with the people of the state, a bunch of demons are sitting around stalking me while I remain on the side of the library. I am their concern and the obsession of the demons, who are all special needs. The entity is maintaining flights over the senior citizen complex, and do so with simultaneity to my taking my phone off of airplane mode. That's federal stalking, monitoring my devices under the fake son that's still at the OVITT Family Community Library, which I've already documented on the record. This is the case. P.O.C. 6:20 p.m. Ongoing gang stalking by the airport at the OVITT Family Community Library. P.O.C. Alright, 6:22 p.m. and you will see the images that I just captured to show you the fake son is at the same exact OVITT Family Community Library. In fact, it's over the parking garage in the same position it is at 10:13 in the morning. And like I documented during the 7 a.m. hour, as the fake son is in that same position over the parking garage, this is the same OVITT Family Community Library. This is where the airport is engaged in what is stalking in an unprecedented and psychopathic manner. This is the special needs population gang stalking, engaging in state surveillance, stalking one person, and spending millions of dollars engaging in that, and doing so in concert with the entire population, Ontario, that's stalking me while that fake son remains at this address. It's 6:23 p.m. and I captured images. That'll be uploaded to the Google Drive. P.O.C. Ontario International Airport, Stalking, flying over 280 North Limit Apartments, a senior citizen complex, where the fake sun remains, where the fake sun is setting. It's 6:32 p.m. P.O.C. The demons, who are, again, the special needs population, stalking with light at the C Street turn circle. When you're looking at them driving and I'm capturing their license plates, and you're looking at them letting kids in and out, and they're getting out of their car, unloading pizza, unloading meals for kids, the Ontario Montclair School District, getting out and going in and out of the library, those are the demons stalking with light, the special needs population, who are stalking in plain view. And their special needs status is identified by that malicious engagement in the P.O.C. They are currently stalking while impossible light coexists with their same conduct, driving by in the turn circle while I'm at a distance, and they are stalking with the City of Ontario. 6:33 p.m., that's stalking via light. All right, and here is the Ontario International Airport following. This is stalking, literally, from place to place. There's no airline taking off at 325 West G Street. No. And there's also no takeoff over 280 North Limit Apartments at the OVITT Family Community Library. But what you do have in common is a clear deviation from any airport, and the maintenance of, as I move, the sound of that firecracker is audible activity. They're all monitoring. And this is engineer light just sitting in the middle of the street. That's a stalker. These are the ones monitoring my vagina. These are the ones stalking with light, flying across me over here, 7RGC881. And that's the fake sun, okay? This is P.O.C. The fake sun moves from being at OVITT Family Community Library all day long, moves to where I'm at, and that's also how you're identifying stalking by a population of demons, the special needs population, who know who I am, okay? And the fake sun moves as I move, in the same way that the City of Ontario is stalking from place to place. The fake sun is documented rising right here. Don't forget that, 6:40 in the morning. This is the same building, the TABOR professional building, and I'm being molested on this wall with engineer light. They're all stalking. 9HQP178. This is the special needs that's engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, the special needs population. Stalking as one. And at nightfall, they're engaged in stalking while multiple shadows are all over the floor. They're not driving in sunlight. They're not under the sun, and it's engineered light at nightfall. Artificial lighting does not cause multiple shadows. This is a whole demonic environment, and this is special needs. All right, that's no longer closeted. Mental illness, in plain sight, gang stalking, state surveillance. This is P.O.C. That is the Ontario International Airport gang stalking with the people of the state as they're flying over their facilitating venues, monitoring me. P.O.C. It's currently 7:31 p.m. where you're seeing the fake sun deviating from setting at the OVITT Family Community Library where it remained. And it's still in Ontario. Big picture. It's still in Ontario. And this is also where I'm documenting on this street at this building at 6:47 in the morning. This is P.O.C. All right, the video you just listened to regarding the Ontario International Airport, they are gang stalking, and the evidence of that specific environment following around an American citizen that is stalking through an unnatural environment, which is conducive to and what is also the evidence of federal group stalking and monitoring. This is gang stalking. All right, so this is literally showing you what is the scary movie of a bunch of demons who are following around in a demonic environment, stalking one person together. This is the special needs population, and that's relevant to the video you just listened to. Preceding gang stalking during the 7 p.m. hour at the TABOR Professional Building, where the entity houses the sun, as I documented in the morning at that same building, where the population is proven to be gang stalking with the government, which is the City of Ontario, while I remain in the City of Ontario, California. This is state action that the people of the state share in. None of them are private citizens engaging in that pattern of conduct with knowledge and intent and ongoing impunity and malice. You will recall the entity is keeping the fake sun over me, and the evidence that I'm capturing immediately preceding the video that you just listened to. I am at the Church's Chicken at 700 East Holt Boulevard, and the entity is maintaining the fake sun over me at this Church's Chicken, which is in the evening. And then this is on the same Holt Boulevard. So this Holt Boulevard runs east and west. This is always giving you the big picture. You're never getting lost in the trees. This is showing you evidence of a fake sun. And when the entity is stalking, that means the entity, a bunch of special needs people who are following the leader. The leader is the federal prosecutor, who is leading them into an inevitable demise, placement into asylums and into prisons. and into criminal records where they will be appropriately labeled so that the rest of the country is protected with regard to knowledge of who terrorists in this country are and what they are capable of and what they've already engaged in, which is going to change their ability to threaten other and endanger other American citizens. So relevant to the video that you just listened to, I did capture that video at what is 7:29 p.m. For you to listen to. Immediately preceding is documentation of gang stalking by Tracy Banks, who is still targeting. Everything that she is doing, she's doing while she is gang stalking. So this is, again, somebody that is taking me to Church's Chicken, and I'm documenting because she remains engaged in the pattern of conduct. This is a psychopath that I deal with respectively. She's a psychopath that engaged in criminally summoning the Ontario Police Department, lying about what it is that happened before she summoned them, and she's been gang stalking the entire time, which is evidence that is already surrounding her while she is gang stalking. So this is why you witness me calmly tolerating this maniacal psychopath, this pedophile, this sex offender, this thief, this criminal that wants to be me. And she is engaging in what is an inevitable demise while I expose a gang stalking mother, which is relevant to the malice of an entity that's engaged in public corruption. She is driving me to Church's Chicken to purchase dinner, and she is gang stalking me in furtherance of murder and kidnapping and theft of my personal property. In doing so, she's lost on all accounts, but I'm still documenting her because she's going to federal prison. The evidence of her gang stalking me is the fake sun remaining over me at 700 East Holt Boulevard, the same Holt Boulevard that I was present on, which is west of this Church's Chicken, where the sun would not be, first of all, over the same street. And you're looking at the evidence of, again, a fake sun that remains over me for the duration of the day, 10:41 a.m. until what is 7:05 p.m. That is the majority of the day where the natural environment is never shared with Naples, Florida, for example, where the sun could not possibly be only one. It would require there be more than one sun. That is speaking to the specific environment, which is proven, and science is on my side in this. The entity is engaging in what is gang stalking, proven through the unnatural environment. And on Holt Boulevard at 10:41 a.m., I'm documenting the same population, the same entity of a special needs population that are gang stalking me, and the evidence is already surrounding them while they are already prosecuted and they're still gang stalking. That's relevant to their special needs status as well, however. East of what is 150 East Holt Boulevard, where I'm documenting the fake sun in the Ontario International Airport on the same street, under the same specific environment, is stalking me. And as I'm documenting on video on Holt Boulevard, west of 700 East Holt Boulevard, where Church's Chicken is located, and I'm documenting the fake sunset at 7:05 p.m., where you will see Tracy Banks gang stalking in the path with the rest of the maniacal psychopaths, violent sex offenders who are equally special needs in that environment, engaging in what is a fully exposed system of surveillance, while they are surrounded with the evidence, while they're engaging in it in front of the whole world, and the whole world's also going to witness the prosecution. Her license plate is 9HUZ740, where she's engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, and doing so on the roads and the highways, which is relevant to federal stalking as well. She's doing so in concert with license DK084, that's a handicap license plate, at the venue of Church's Chicken at 700 East Holt Boulevard, doing so with third parties license 7KSX483, with license plate 54842C4 at the third-party facilitating venue, Church's Chicken, where the impossible is happening with regard to the environment where the evidence of criminal surveillance is underway, just like here at the OVITT Family Community Library, where I am at the Starbucks, and I'm documenting that pattern of conduct, just like at the Woodside Senior Apartments, where Tracy Banks is gang stalking by residents with all of her gang stalking neighbors, the same special needs status. It is not based on race or age or, in other words, demographic or linguistics. It's also, as the Ontario Police and the City of Ontario demonstrate, not based on position or placement of authority. This is speaking to a special needs population that raises a threat to American citizens who are unsuspecting and unaware of a whole population that is entirely demented, engaging in targeting American citizens and abusing whatever positions that they have, whatever they have at their disposal to engage in that. And that is a national security concern. It is domestic terrorism in the country, and the entity is engaging in that. That's relevant to what I documented. The sun is not going to remain on one street in one city. Just so that you know, the distance from, for example, where I'm at 1041, which I document in order to prove, because this is demonic. And so the entity is relying on a supernatural pattern of conduct in order to falsely depict the character of an American citizen that lacks evidence to prove it. At 150 East Holt Boulevard and at Church's Chicken at 700 East Holt Boulevard, this is a 3-minute ride on one street that runs east and west. And this is, in other words, 0.6 miles, basically a half a mile. And the natural environment does not include the sun being present over my head, by the way, at 10:41 a.m. and then being east of that location to be in perfect alignment with me, that is stalking with the fake sun. At what is 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 hours later on Holt Boulevard, where the entity is keeping that fake sun while I'm in the presence of the third party, Tracy Banks, a malicious psychopath targeting her daughter, whom she wants to be, lying about being my sister, having sex with fake friends of mine in order to conspire to steal property from me, and is obsessed with me, and that's why she has sex with people that I formerly associated with. I don't associate with any of them now because there's sexual activity, which is not what I'm concerned about. It's relevant to showing co-conspirators, those that have met each other, even had sex with each other, and I didn't even know that they ever knew of each other because I never introduced him. That sexual relationship is legally relevant to proving the ongoing conspiracy, the depths to which the entity is associated with each other and targeting me and gang stalking me unbeknownst to me in concert with the state of California, also sharing and criminally defaming my character in ways that are entirely malicious and literally sharing and manufacturing, making up, artificially engineering mental illness. This is the pattern of conduct that is relevant to the fake sunset as I'm documenting it yesterday evening at the TABOR Professional Building. P.O.C. All right, it's currently 10:16 p.m. and this is follow-up documentation. So first of all, the Ontario International Airport that you saw stalking under the fake sun that set, it was setting on the same street where I'm literally on the opposite side, on the west side of the TABOR Professional Building, where I've captured the sunrise. And what you're paying attention to is the pattern is that the sunrise and the sunset is over me. And it's also at the same location, the TABOR Professional Building, which I just documented the other day. The demon-possessed, the special needs population stalking, doing so in an unnatural environment, which is speaking to their very sick and demented mind state that they share while they're all stalking together. And this is relevant to what is demonic activity. So the Ontario International Airport continuously stalking, flying over 325 West G Street. And again, this is more, when I'm showing you over 150 East Holt Boulevard on Holt Boulevard, Southwest Airlines, and the entity hovering over the 150 East Holt Boulevard, Euclid and Holt Boulevard intersection, the entity is flying northwest to be flying over 325 West G Street, and at that, while the fake sun is setting at the same location where I'm showing you that where the sun is rising. And the entity is engaging in ongoing stalking, and the entity also engaged in what is again begging for attention. A stalker that's already proven to be stalking and obsessed with me, literally begging for my attention by flying repeatedly over by helicopter. Doing so also while I'm, again, viewing content online, particularly about a subject concerning like an old woman pretending to be like a sister to her daughter and having sex with her daughter's male friend, and then they had a baby together, and then he was embarrassed because he found out the baby wasn't even his child. And this is the person that this male friend of the daughter chose, who's not actually her sister, it's actually her mother. So while I'm watching this video on YouTube, this is when the Ontario Police Department engages in even louder helicopter activity, engages in what is circling around above me, while the demons, again, this is the same demonic spirit that's in all of the entity that surrounds. So together the demons get louder, together the light activity gets brighter, together the helicopter activity gets louder, and the entity is engaging in what is literally begging me for attention. I totally disregard it. It's relevant to what it is that I'm viewing online. The entity is engaged in federal stalking. This is relevant to criminal surveillance by a special needs population. I've already proven them to be stalking. The entity is subject to disbanding, removal from office, federal prison for kidnapping. These are the special needs that I am essentially disregarding. And they are, again, animated by the content that I'm viewing online, which they're all sitting around monitoring as well. And it's interesting to note that the demon-possessed are very much excited and bothered by my viewing content about an old woman acting like she's the sister of her daughter, unbeknownst to her daughter, and that she's having sex with her daughter's friends, and that having kids with them, having a whole secret family, and then lying about the paternity of that child.
And this is while, again, this mother that's pretending to be a sister of her daughter is then also seeking to steal the inheritance. This is what I'm viewing online when the Ontario Police Department begins flying in circles and then getting louder. Remember, it's audible activity which is amplified. This is demonic. You're looking at the Ontario Police Department engage in demonic activity when you're looking at them flying in helicopter. This is practice of voodoo. It's witchcraft while they're gang stalking. They're engaging in what is demonic activity. Okay, I am prosecuting, and you are witnessing demonic behaviors by people who are demon possessed while they are engaging in criminal stalking. Their satanic behaviors are going to be prosecuted under the law while you're looking at them engaging in that behavior that you can see. They're engaging in demonic activity, though, and the helicopter activity gets louder. The helicopter clapping gets louder. The demon possessed are going psychotic while they're pacing on G Street with impossible light activity, and this is all relevant to, again, something that's analogous to what Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields have engaged in. And it is interesting to know that I'm totally ignoring these stalkers, and the Ontario Police Department is literally begging me for attention while they are continuously flying over my head. And it's relevant to the sex affair that Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks engaged in. Neither one of them are ever having anything to do with my life. I'm going to get my property and I'm moving on. Both of them are delusional psychopaths. They're embarrassed by what's published on the internet. They're embarrassed by my speaking out about their sex affair. An old woman like Tracy Banks acting like she's my sister, for anybody, including Jason Isaac Fields, to believe it, for him to be having sex with anybody that claims to be a family member of mine and him not telling me whether they said that they're my grandma, my cousin, my sister, or he's sleeping with my brother. He is equally a nasty whore, okay? He is despicable and disgusting. There is no future endeavors between myself and him. I don't care what family member he was having sex with. I don't care what girls and boys he likes to penetrate with his genitalia. What STDs they like to share amongst each other. The entity is embarrassed by what is exposed about them. These are all thieves and they're all demons that engaged in gang stalking me together. And the entity is engaged in what is stalking me by helicopter while stories that are analogous and similar to what Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields engaged in together is the subject of what I'm viewing online, which is relevant to federal stalking. But I want to be clear, Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks are going to federal prison. Regardless of the details of their perverted sex affair, which I don't care anything about, I have been disgusted to the nth degree. I don't want to know about anybody else's sexual activity with my demon-possessed mother. I'm going to puke if I hear one more person that had sex with her. The entity is engaging in this pattern of conduct and is doing so pursuant to what is surveillance on my phone. And the Ontario Police Department did for over 20 minutes, literally beg me by continuously flying over my head. And you know how these cowards are. Once I start capturing them on video, then they're flying away and then flying in circles at a distance. I've already proven that they're stalking, and I've also proven that they're obsessed with my vagina. They are being disbanded, and that is already proven. I've hundreds and hundreds of videos, let alone the over 100 videos as of June 3rd, 2025. So that's why I didn't even stop looking at what I was viewing on YouTube to capture these demons stalking me in helicopter. Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields are going to federal prison where they won't be able to have sex with each other anymore. But they will always be embarrassed by what they engage in and what they failed in trying to do to me, which is through their sex activity, through their group sex conduct, and through their gay sex rituals, steal property from me and garner any sort of spiritual authority. It doesn't exist amongst the demon possessed. While you're trying to contest Christ Jesus, it's impossible. Nonetheless, this is relevant to what the Ontario Police Department are interested in. For whatever reason, they're interested in terrorizing me while Tracy Banks' sex life with fake friends of mine that are the age of her children is the subject of what I'm looking at on the internet. Isn't that interesting that the Ontario Police Department are interested in terrorizing me with helicopter while I'm looking at that sort of subject on YouTube? That's relevant to note. That is also her co-defendant that she summoned to her apartment on May 29, 2025. She's going to prison. She's going to prison for more than having sex with Jason Isaac Fields. I could not care less about what psychopaths, what perverts are attracted to pedophiles like Tracy Banks. I could not care less. But I'll tell you what, and what everybody else should already know, and what my character clearly demonstrates, and what all of these lying demons know the truth of, Jason Isaac Fields will never have any relationship with me. It's never happening. And everybody, every lying demon knows the truth. They know who I am, and he will never, ever stand next to me. Ever. It's never going to happen. Not only because of his engaging what is gang stalking me. You only have to try to kill me one time. And I don't care about talking about you had some spell over you. Everybody is deciding what they want to do. This demon thought that he was going to capitalize off of my death and stealing property and having sex on money with Tracy Banks while he worships demons. Okay, he's the one that's engaging in what is having sex with people, which is permanently disqualifying him from ever even being in the same room as me. And if he's ever in the room next, I'm going to prosecute the government for it, period. This is a terrorist, and I don't care what position that he's been abusing in order to engage in gang stalking me. If the federal government permits this terrorist in my presence, in the same way that I have to document and be subject to the gang stalking by the Ontario Police Department, I'm going to prosecute the government for that as well. That is not a threat, that's a promise. The entities engaging in what is an unlawful threat to my life, engaged in what is voyeurism, is not pursuant to any federal investigation. I will not be engaging in any professional relationship with the federal government sitting around engaging in what is watching me subject to gang stalking. I'm not going to have any personal relationship with any sex offender having sex with Tracy Banks. You've had kids with my family members. You've had sex with my family members. You need to let it go. All right, the entities engaged in this, it's 10:25 p.m. The Ontario Police Department engaged in what is stalking me by helicopter while stories on YouTube, similar to the sexual relationship between Jason Isaac Fields, the same age as Tracy Banks' son, while she's lying to fake friends of mine, because that's what she did with Jason Isaac Fields, talking about that she's my sister. She does not look like my sister. She doesn't. She doesn't look like she's my same age. Jason Isaac Fields had sex with somebody that he thought was going to get him money. That's why he had sex with Tracy Banks. He had sex with Tracy Banks because he was targeting me like he was the entire time that I met him. All right, and he's gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, which is why he's going to federal prison. And so is Tracy Banks. All right, the entities that's been engaged in gang stalking, the Ontario Police are stalking me on the same street where the fake sun rises and sets. I will be reminding you about those two videos while I include that on the podcast. The Ontario Police Department is already proven to be a stalker, and they clearly don't care about being known as terrorists. And so do the people of the state. So like I said, these are stalkers. They're pathetic. They're begging me for attention. I don't have time for that. I've already prosecuted them, but I will be very clear. I'm not going to mince words with any demons, and I'm not going to mince words with any sort of demon-possessed nymphomaniacs like Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields. Anybody that fused genitalia with anybody that's blood related to me, listen, you're delusional thinking, and I've said this before, you are still targeting me. You're still gang stalking while these psychopaths of the Ontario Police and the people of the state are gang stalking me. It's never going to happen. I'm never working with you. I will never have tea with you. There will never be any friendship. I don't have to deal with you in order to forgive you. And forgiveness is just because I want to be done with it and moving on with my life. I'm getting my property, and none of you demons will ever have anything to do with me. All right, and you can mark my words. Christ Jesus has not called me to be involved with any psychopaths that tried to maintain a whole secret coup behind my back, stealing money from me. Why would I walk into a Dateline situation where you would concoct my murder to steal something else and take my life for whatever else you think is more valuable? This is, again, delusional demons who are engaged in stalking criminal conduct in real time. This sort of lunacy is exactly why I'm going to prosecute the state, and I'm moving on with my life. People like Jason Isaac Fields are why the Ontario Police Department are gang stalking now. These psychopaths that have no future in law enforcement, they are already proven as stalkers, and they have already conceded that fact while they are stalking day and night in helicopter on the same street where the sun is rising and setting. The demon-possessed, they have no interest in being anything other than exposed domestic terrorists and violent sex offenders, monitoring my genitalia with pedophiles like Tracy Banks, okay? They don't have any interest. That's why they're openly stalking all over the internet as I publish that evidence. And while I publish that evidence, it's just relevant to note, because there are no secrets here. People like Jason Isaac Fields disgust me. Nobody that makes me want to puke has any future endeavors with me, nor are you going to, like a rapist, force yourself on me. And this is public information because federal law is going to bar you from ever coming into my presence. And if you do, I will prosecute you for that. But you belong in federal prison in the first place. And this is to, again, not only Tracy Banks, but everybody else gang stalking. Shanita Romine McClain, Carrie Heberlin, Ariana Elena Lopez. I don't even talk to those demons, but you speaking on my name and engaging what is defaming me in the courts with the Ontario Police Department, you're going to federal prison. All right, the entity's gang stalking while they're defaming me in the courthouse. This is what the entity conspired against me in order to steal property. And guess what? The psychopaths that you gang stalked me with are the same ones providing evidence as to why you're going to prison and why you were lying in court on my character. Okay, engaged in what is stalking with the police does not equal mental illness on my part. You're going to federal prison for an unintelligent system of targeting that I proved on my own. Not only that, it's relevant to the perverts of who are Eric Clay Spencer, but his mother, Tracy Banks, having sex with our peers like Jason Isaac Fields, having sex with my family member, having kids with my family member. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. And everyone needs to hear that. Did you hear that helicopter activity? Jason Isaac Fields will never have any future with me. This is a delusional psychopath. He is gang stalking me to date. Who engages in trying to solicit a relationship with someone by gang stalking them? A demon-possessed person who needs to be put in federal prison and put out of their misery and stuck in a federal prison cell. Because that's what's happening with the entity that's gang stalking me by name. And it includes the co-defendants of the Ontario Police Department, Tracy Banks, her sex partners, however many people she had sex with in the Ontario Police Department, while they're engaged in summoning demonic spirits. Those demonic spirits don't help them with the legal strategy. They don't help them with common sense. They don't help them with any prudent behavior as with regard to acting like they're not targeting with the state. They're engaging in criminal conduct while I am on my device, and the entity is triggered by the fact of me looking at YouTube videos that are speaking to stories that are directly similar to what Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields engaged in, and their love child or whatever, a Jerry Springer relationship that they had is their own basis of embarrassment. The entity has only engaged in stalking me. The entity has only engaged in trying to attach itself to me and my property. The entity has only engaged in trying to attach itself to my name and trying to defame my character. In doing so, when they want to be me, they worship me and they stalk me, which is what the Ontario Police Department is also demonstrating. There is no actual connection. There is no actual relationship. There's no future relationship coming either. All right. When you have sex with my family members, you can pretty much bank on it's never going to happen. Nor would a woman of my stature ever engage in something or acquiesce to a person that engaged in that sort of conduct under any circumstances to anyone, let alone me. All right, it is currently, I want to be clear, where the Ontario Police is restarting the stalking in helicopter, because this is what they were doing for 25 minutes, flying in circles over me, and doing it again, clearly targeting in the engineered environment where the fake sun rises and sets. And this is also why demons that work at Starbucks that are gang stalking with the same Ontario Police Department, they're going to federal prison. There is no mystery here, and the entity clearly has no interest in maintaining any sort of controversy about whether they're actually targeting me or not. That's fine. I started my documentation in order to prosecute, and that's exactly what I did. My prosecution is already complete. The case is already complete. The federal government is sitting around watching the state of California target me, and I will not be working with the federal government. I don't have any secrets, so I'm going to state out at the outset what's not going to happen. And I'm in the position with that authority to decree that. There will be no working with the federal government that's watching this go on. There will be no relationship with anybody having sex with my family members. All of these delusional demons, you're all being plucked out, and that's the end of it, okay? It is currently, I want to be clear, the entity pacing by plane and helicopter and stalking with the people of the state. And Tracy Banks is inside of Unit 51, engaged in federal stalking with the city of Ontario. She's going to federal prison while I'm speaking to the demons that are gang stalking me right along with her, while they're engaged in criminal conduct that she is sharing, and she's engaged in federal stalking with the government providing an ongoing body of evidence about what she's been engaged in for years and failing and stealing my property, having a secret conservatorship, having fake marriages, claiming to people and the government that I died, having death certificates on me, collecting money, engaging in what is trafficking me online. All of this criminal conduct that Jason Isaac Fields has also been engaged in. This person is delusional. In addition to having sex with my mother, having children with people in my family, and then having any sort of a notion, some sort of desperate and demonic ideas that are entirely incestuous and entirely perverted, that I would ever have any sort of relationship with him or anyone that engaged in anything like that. It's never going to happen. And it is not the will of my father. That is not why I'm here. I'm prosecuting, and guess what? My prosecution is complete. These demons are stalking in plain view. You know what that means? Because they already gave up. They already know that they lost. That's why they're stalking, obviously, with the airport, stalking, obviously, with the police department and the demon-possessed people of the state. There's no mystery here. I've already proven the case. And while I've done that, the federal government has been no help. I will not be working with I don't need any job. This wasn't an application. You are the one that lost, and by the way, that I've been interviewing. I'm looking at your behavior. I'm looking at how you conduct yourself. And it is something that is less than competent. I will never be associated with that sort of agency or anybody that would recruit somebody like Jason Isaac Fields. No, thank you. It is currently 10:34 p.m. It is Sunday, July 13, 2025. This is direct evidence of stalking me and monitoring what I'm doing on the internet. And the people of the state are going to federal prison. Eric Corey Spencer, Tracy Banks, Tommy Allen Banks engaged in kidnapping with the same department in August of 2019. There is no statute of limitations. And while he's on the opposite side of the country, he belongs to federal prison. Carrie Heberlin, Ariana Elena Lopez, she's married to some weirdo, so her last name would be different now. Everybody, including Jason Isaac Fields, and the entity that's engaged in gang stalking me everybody that engaged in bearing false witness did so while the entity has been gang stalking me in furtherance of murder and kidnapping. And the entity has totally given up on what is the case that I've already proven. That's why they're obviously stalking in a matter, not being mysterious, not being secretive, and under no circumstances and nor can they, because I've already proven it. But the entity has totally given up with regard to trying to gang stalk, like nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody knows that you're stalking me. And that's why they're obviously stalking in the manner. You can hear them stalking by plane. You can hear them stalking by helicopter, flying over me for 25 minutes. What type of idiot would do that while you're documenting it? Somebody that's given up on what's supposed to be the secrecy of gang stalking when you're supposed to be imagining it. I've already won the case. And by the way, I'm not applying with the federal government. This is no application. You have lost, I don't want to say lost, you have failed in being any sort of agency that I would ever affiliate myself with. That's what's happening. I don't have to go that route, and I'm not going to. All right, it is currently, again, 10:35 a.m. This is P.O.C.